Chapter 71. On this day, the ordinary Flying Feather Dojo was filled with disciples from various large dojos, because there was only one day left before the once-in-a-decade Tianmen province banquet. Senior Brother Yu, Nightmare Cave's people have arrived. The Grand Council Hall was also bustling with people. Yu Junkie suddenly stopped Su Fong and told him that Nightmare Cave's experts had arrived at Flying Feather Peak. Su Fong was extremely happy when he heard that. Nightmare Cave had finally arrived, but not Nightmare Cave, but Luo Zhongyun. Everyone, I have some matters to attend to, so please stay here and enjoy the scenery. Su Fong was currently bringing a few people from the state of Zhao to enjoy the scenery. After settling them down, he left the Grand Council Hall. Arriving at the same side of the mountain as Qiulingji, Su Fong immediately ascended a palace and saw that the person in charge of greeting Nightmare Cave's experts was Tai Su, who happened to be Yu Junkie's good friend. Tai Su and another Flying Feather Army expert were guarding outside the palace. When they saw Su Fong, they cupped their fists and said, "Junior brother Su, you're here for something?" Su Fong bowed. "Senior brother, may I ask if Nightmare Cave's Luo Zhongyun is here?" "Brother Luo, he's here. Wait for him." Tai Su was very easy to talk to, and it seemed that he knew Luo Zhongyun. He indicated for Su Fong to wait outside. Tai Su entered the main hall and soon led a man out. It was Luo Zhongyun, who had subdued the blazing twin-tailed mane with the illusion cloud rope. The latter suddenly saw Su Fong and was stunned for a while. He suddenly patted his head and exclaimed, "Little brother, so it's you. I didn't expect you to become a part of Tianmen province. Oh, look at your black feather battle armor. In just a few short years, you've even become a member of the Flying Feather Army." Su Fongda was delighted. "Brother Luo, you still remember me. How could I not remember how many mortals you have? You were able to cross the Fishmouth River on your own, step by step. You left Tianzong City, crossed thousands of rivers and mountains, and entered Tianmen province to cultivate. In a few years, you even became a member of the Flying Feather Army. To me, you can be considered a witness to your achievements." After Tai Su heard this, he realized that Su Fong and Luo Zhongyun were not very familiar with each other, but they seemed to have a good relationship. Big brother Luo, junior brother Su relied on himself to touch the heavenly gate and climbed the heavenly gate before joining my feathery dojo. He is the first genius to enter Tianmen province by climbing the heavenly gate in 100 years. Su Fong said again, "Big brother Luo, if you're not busy right now, I can show you around." "All right." Luo Zhongyun nodded his head heroically. The two of them left the main hall and quickly entered the forest. It seemed that Luo Zhongyun was not at all unfamiliar with Tianmen province. Could it be that big brother Luo has also cultivated here before? I joined Aluo Dojo and entered at the flesh body realm. When I reached the Law Cave realm, I met the current cave master. These past 10 years, I've been following the cave master in Nightmare Cave. You, on the other hand, have really made me have a whole new level of respect for you. Even now, I can still clearly remember standing in front of me all those years ago. The one who refused my request and insisted on relying on himself to touch the heavenly gate to enter Tianmen province. Have you found your father's whereabouts? I didn't think that big brother Luo would remember my matters so clearly. Not long ago, I had some gains, but for the time being, I'm still unable to find my father's whereabouts. Su Fong brought Luo Zhongyun to a cliff. Luo Zhongyun gazed at the mountain range of Tianmen province, as if he was reminiscing about the past. Su Fong suddenly asked, "Big brother Luo, do you know anything about Tianzong City's past, or the Violet Fortune Kingdom? 3,000 years ago, it was known as the Era of Nations. In this world, there were many nations, but after the war, most of them were destroyed one by one. The state of Zhao destroyed the Violet Fortune Kingdom, the Dual Star Dynasty, and other nations, becoming the only empire in this territory. I heard that the Violet Fortune Kingdom was only born a few hundred years ago, but it was destroyed by the state of Zhao. The state of Zhao's emperor, Zhao Wuji, possessed unparalleled divine abilities. He beheaded one overlord after another, and used his strength to unify the other nations, creating the state of Zhao today. Speaking of the Violet Fortune Kingdom, the one who controls the empire is also surnamed Su. Could it be that you're a descendant of the Violet Fortune Kingdom's imperial family? Luo Zhongyun's eyes flashed with a shrewd light. Su Fang shook his head. I only want to understand a bit more about this world. Before, I only knew about Tianmen Province. How could I have known that Tianmen Province was only a small power within the state of Zhao? The state of Zhao is a legend, and the founding emperor, Zhao Wuji, is even more of a legend. The state of Zhao was only born 100 years ago, but under Zhao Wuji's leadership, they destroyed one nation after another. It is rumored that Zhao Wuji single-handedly challenged the emperors, and wherever he went, he would return triumphantly with the heads of the emperors. In front of Su Fang, Luo Zhongyun opened his mouth and told him everything he knew about the past of the state of Zhao and the Violet Fortune Kingdom. After reuniting for half a day, the two parted ways in the forest. Su Fang returned to the military council hall. Just as he arrived at the front of the hall, he suddenly saw two familiar figures. Lu Lan and Lu Ming, the siblings. The siblings were chatting and laughing with a group of unspeakably wealthy people, causing others to be envious. Those people must be the emissaries of the state of Zhao. Even so, many men were surrounding Lu Lan. Lianzhan just came out from the military council hall and saw Su Fang from afar. He quickly ran over and said, "Junior brother Su, it is better if you don't go over. I don't know where Lu Lan got her connections from, but she has a close relationship with some of the emissaries from the state of Zhao. She once suspected that you were the one who killed junior brother Lu. It is better for you to avoid her." Lianzhan's reminder was timely, and Su Fang immediately avoided Lu Lan and Lu Ming. Everyone in the Flying Feather Army was busy serving the various cave masters and emissaries from the state of Zhao. Su Fang also met quite a few cave masters and heard many legends about them. At the same time, he accidentally found out that among the emissaries from the state of Zhao, there were emissaries sent by the king of Yu. The three Grand Dukes had sent emissaries, and there were some emissaries who represented the empire. There were also emissaries from the current crown princes, and other influential figures. There were too many influential figures, especially for those in the Secret Path realm. Which one of these emissaries wasn't at the Divine Power realm? Those cave masters were also Divine Power realm experts, and those in the Secret Path realm were like ants to them. Dawn came unexpectedly. All the cultivators in the Secret Path realm in Tianmen Province came to the Flying Feather Peak almost overnight. There were about 2,000 of them, and they had already arrived at the plaza early in the morning to wait for the banquet to begin. As for disciples in the Flesh-Body realm and the Chi-Eater realm, they weren't qualified to participate in this banquet. At the front and center of the banquet plaza, there were floating seats that were inlaid with spirit stones and precious stones. In fact, an array formation was used. The spirit stones were used as the core, and they fused with runic patterns to form square seat. The seats on the seats were all inlaid with gold, silver, and precious stones. It was very extravagant. The square seats were 20 feet above the ground and formed a square that surrounded the center of the plaza. There were a total of 16 floating seats, and they represented the cave masters under the command of Tianmen Province. Every cave master brought 7 to 10 people with him. Near the front there was a rectangular seat with about 30 people. They all had something in common, and that was that they were all very wealthy. On the rostrum, the cultivators of the Flying Feather Army stood on their flying swords, and some cultivators from the inner palace were serving all kinds of delicacies to the seats. As for the 2,000 or so Tianmen Province disciples around the plaza, they were also able to enjoy all kinds of delicacies. The Flying Feather Army's disciples in the Secret Path realm and the Flesh-Body realm were in charge of serving them. Su Fang, Lian Zhan, Li Suqing, Zhang Xuejian, Mei Xianshao, Yuan Chengying, and the others were mainly in charge of serving these secret path realm disciples. Looking at the floating seats from this angle, Su Fang also saw many familiar faces, such as Luo Muxue, Ho Ping, Yang Zhongjue, Tu Yueya, and the others, as well as the leaders and elites of each dojo. In the seats of the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries, each of them attracted everyone's attention, especially the 6 people sitting at the front. They seemed to be even more extraordinary, and Shen Huangqi was one of them. During this process, Ho Ping led the leaders of each dojo to offer wine to the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries, and then the cave masters. This is the power of the Heavenly Gate Mansion. The Divine Power Realm Tycoon is so astonishing. No wonder an arrogant character like the Crimson Swallow Great Emperor did not dare cross the Star Dual Sand Plains. Any cave master can contend against a great suzerain. After 3 years in Tianmen Province, Su Fang finally saw the strength of Tianmen Province. No wonder they could dominate a region and oversee such a vast territory. It was because of these cave masters and cultivators in front of him. And these cave masters in front of cultivators like Shen Huangqi were inferior in both aura and strength. It seemed that the Zhao Kingdom was the real crocodile. When it was close to noon, the Zhao Kingdom's emissaries and the cave masters also offered wine to each other. More cultivators from Tianmen Province arrived, and there were more than 10 cultivators like Luo Muxue and Ho Ping. Su Fang asked around and found out that Luo Muxue was conferred the title of Tianmen Holy Maiden General because she controlled a team called the Holy Maiden Army. Although there weren't many of them, they gathered the cultivators of Tianmen Province and were under Luo Muxue's command. This meant that Luo Muxue's position was about the same as Yang Zhongjue and the other leaders. Tianmen Province's lord also quickly arrived. Everyone stood up to welcome the Tianmen Holy Emperor. Even Shen Huangqi and the other Zhao emissaries were the same. It was clear that the Tianmen Holy Emperor was not simple. So young. Not only was this the first time most people saw the Tianmen Holy Emperor, but it was also Su Fang's first time seeing the overlord of this territory. The Tianmen Holy Emperor was at most 30 years old. He had a pair of heroic eyebrows, but his deep eyes were too unfathomable. And when he met the Zhao emissaries, his gaze was like a pillar, and he chatted with everyone. To be able to injure Dao Wuliang's human form, the Tianmen Holy Emperor is too powerful. When I have time, I must ask the old fox just how high the Tianmen Holy Emperor's cultivation is. Just how unfathomable it is. Su Fang and Lian Zhan arrived at the back of the platform. At this time, they were even closer to the Tianmen Holy Emperor, especially only 2 zhang away from Luo Muxue. If it was not for this banquet being held at the Flying Feather Peak, he would not have been able to obtain this kind of close contact with Tianmen Province's upper echelons, as well as Zhao's emissaries and cave masters. At this time, Shen Huangqi met with the Tianmen Province's lord at the front. Congratulations to Lord Manor for annihilating the Star Dual Sand Plains bandits and beheading the fierce bandit Hong Yuetian. The Tianmen Holy Emperor cupped his fist at Shen Huangqi. A trivial matter, not worth mentioning. Brother Shen, you must not be polite. Although my place is remote, I want everyone to eat and drink well. The other emissaries also addressed the Tianmen Holy Emperor as brothers, causing many disciples to view the Tianmen Holy Emperor as an astonishing celestial, able to chat and laugh with the Zhao's great personages. The Nightmare Devil Cave Master offers 100 spirit treasures, 300 meridian relaxation pills, and 100 demon beast inner cores to the Lord Manor. The Heavenly Fire Cave Master offers 100 spirit treasures, 200 meridian relaxation pills, and 150 inner cores. After noon, the 2 suns in the sky emitted a scorching heat. Yang Zhongjue sent out Tuyue and the Inner Manor's experts, shouting on the spot. Besides the 16 cave masters, Even the 6 Zhao Kingdom emissaries represented the Zhao Kingdom to bring gifts to Tianmen province, all of which were every sort of magic weapon and immortal pill. Everyone. At this moment, Ho Ping came to the center and bowed to each of the Zhao Empire's emissaries before looking at the Cave Masters. Cave Masters, today is the Heavenly Gate Prefecture's once-in-a-decade prefecture banquet. We are welcoming our distinguished guests from the Zhao Empire. These distinguished guests represent the various princes, as well as the current emperor. We would also like to display the Heavenly Gate Prefecture's splendor to our distinguished guests. According to the past rules, everyone will spar with each other. Chapter 72. As soon as Ho Ping finished speaking, the experts behind the Cave Masters and the Tianmen province experts behind the rostrum were all eager to give it a try. Apart from the Cave Masters, Tu Yi and Luo Muxue, even Qi Xinshui and Qiu Lingji had cold gazes. To have a chance to show off in front of the Zhao ambassador was an opportunity that only came by once every 10 years. Nightmare Cave Luo Zongyun, Oxhead Cave Fu Biao. 2 figures flew out from the Cave Master's seats and arrived at the center of the square. When Su Fang heard the name Luo Zongyun, he indeed saw Luo Zongyun. In front of him was a man with a stocky build. Looking at this person's broad shoulders and thick waist, he was a tough stubble and had a physical advantage. "Brother Luo, please." "You're welcome." Under everyone's gaze, Fu Biao and Luo Zongyun each took a few steps back. Ho Ping stepped forward and pointed his finger. 3 talismans appeared in the air and formed an invisible barrier. Tongbi Divine Fist. Fu Biao attacked first. With a bang, his aura surged out. Layers of energy exploded. It was 5 layers of energy. This was a powerful person who had reached the 5th layer of the Dharma Cave realm. He was also one of the mainstays of Tianmen province. Soul-snatching flying spear. Luo Zongyun also released a shocking amount of energy. His energy had reached the 6th layer. He had already surpassed Fu Biao in terms of cultivation. This was not a competition or a battle of magical powers. It was just a spar. Therefore, realms were secondary. The most important thing was to let the Zhao ambassador see how different he was. Of course, not everyone could go up. If one was not at the Dharma Cave realm, it would be a joke. A dozen silver spears appeared around Luo Zongyun's body. They were not magical treasures, but spells. They were formed by spiritual power. The burly Fu Biao immediately gained the upper hand. His body released layers of energy. As he waved his hands, several shadows of arms appeared around him. It was as if he had 3 heads and 6 arms. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The silver spears around Luo Zongyun started to spin around his body. The shadows of the arms were like snakes, whipping the spear's defenses. Pring pring, the arm shadow caused the silver spear defense to tremble, forming an imposing aura that swept through the surrounding barrier. The void barrier immediately appeared. ZZ, the silver spear danced and spun around Luo Zongyun, forming a flying spear defense. The arm shadow with divine power was unable to disperse it at all. Be careful, this is the heart-shattering palm that I have painstakingly researched. The battle of spells shook the flying feather peak. Roughly half an incense stick's worth of time later, Fu Biao saw that Luo Zongyun's defense was unbreakable. He immediately unleashed his strongest attack. All of his aura poured into his palms as he took a step forward. The instant his palms struck out, 2 palm winds smashed towards Luo Zongyun like a mountain. Luo Zongyun still maintained his silver spear defense. At this moment, he was very confident. He looked straight at the palm wind that covered the area in front of him, and then with a boom, the power of the palm shot out, and the light of the stars intersected. It was about to devour both the silver spear and Luo Zongyun's defenses. However, the silver spear was still dancing in the air, strongly resisting the power of the palm and penetrating layer by layer. With another boom, Luo Zhongyun and the silver spear were both forced back 3 meters. The silver spear stopped, and Luo Zhongyun calmly cupped his fist. "You're too courteous. Your spells are exquisite and your magic energy is powerful. I admire you." Fu Biao immediately admitted defeat. "Good, the two of you have performed well. Here's your reward." An envoy from the state of Zhao sat next to Shun Huangqi. He waved his hand to the person next to him. A young woman appeared and took out 2 empty bags. She handed them over to Fu Biao and Luo Zhongyun. "The King of Yu's residence has a large reward. 3 spirit treasures, 50 meridian loosening pills, and an empty bag." "Many thanks, my lord." The two of them immediately bowed to the envoy. The King of Yu's people. Countless people were envious. They had actually received such a shocking reward. Even if they worked in Tianmen province for their entire lives, they wouldn't receive 3 Dharma treasures. Only one person wasn't envious at all. Instead, he stared at the state of Zhao's seat. He was secretly sizing up a middle-aged man in purple-yellow robes with an exquisite jade pendant at his waist and a folding fan. Lord Pang. Heavenly Flame Cave, Fiend General. 6-Plate Cave, Hongli. Once Luo Zhongyun and Fu Biao returned to their respective camps under countless envious gazes, they continued to fight. 2 more experts from different cave masters appeared. However, this time, the Fiend General and Hong Li only needed 3 moves to determine the victor. That Fiend General's cultivation had reached the 8th level of the Dharma Whole Realm. That was too shocking. Hong Li, who came from 6-Plate Cave, was only at the 6th level of the Dharma Whole Realm. There was a difference of an entire realm between them. So in just 3 moves, he was defeated by the Fiend General. No matter how powerful Hong Li's magic was, it couldn't compare to his strength. Hong Li was forced to leave without receiving any reward. As for the Heavenly Flame Cave's Fiend General, he remained in place, domineeringly sweeping his gaze over the cave masters. The 8th level of the Dharma Whole Realm was already beyond the reach of many people. Cultivating in the Dharma Whole Realm wasn't like cultivating in the Secret Path Realm. One had to cultivate magic energy. Cultivating magic energy was too difficult. Using magic energy wasn't easy either. So when entering the Dharma Whole Realm, many people would be stuck at the 5th level. There were very few people who could reach the 8th or 9th level. Magic energy was a huge obstacle. None of the cave masters stepped forward. The Fiend General puffed out his chest and said, "Haha, which friend wants to come and try? I'm here to experience your skills." Suddenly, a figure appeared on the main stage. Yunlu Training Grounds, Xiao Yunbai. It was a white-clothed man. He didn't look like he was in his mid-20s. Xiao Yunbai Su Fong heard many people talking about this white-clothed man. He then heard, "He's an expert from Jade Heron Training Ground. I heard that he's one of the Jade Heron Training Ground seedlings who are about to reach the Transcendent Realm." Transcendent Realm. Once he reaches the Transcendent Realm, he'll be favored by the Hall Master. Everyone was talking about the white-clothed man. Those who knew about Xiao Yunbai were all experts above the Dharma Whole Realm. For someone like Su Fong who was in the Secret Path Realm, the other party was like a god. And a Transcendent Realm seedling? In the plaza, the Heavenly Flame Grotto's Fiend General cupped his fists and said, "Xiao Yunbai, it's because of your many missions that we've only met each other and never had the chance to fight. It's my honor to be able to experience your skills at this banquet." "I'm also very honored. Please." Xiao Yunbai was like a graceful prince. After landing, he rolled up his sleeve. Fire Cloud Mountain Suppression. The Fiend General's aura suddenly erupted. The Dharma Whole Realm's energy was too terrifying. Under the Fiend General's full power, his energy actually started burning. Heavenly Heart Finger. Xiao Yunbai gently rose. He didn't seem to release the same terrifying aura as his opponent. However, his index finger suddenly turned a reddish-gold color. Heavenly Heart Finger. That's one of the strongest magic arts in Tianmen province. Apart from being a transcendent realm, it's also extremely powerful. That's right. The sword Heartfinger that we originally cultivated actually came from the heavenly Heartfinger. It evolved from this magic art. Many people were praising Xiao Yunbai. Looking at the Tianmen province's upper echelons from the sidelines, it was clear that they admired Xiao Yunbai. Huchi! The fiend general spat out an astonishing amount of flames. The instant Xiao Yunbai's heavenly Heartfinger arrived, a fiery hand appeared from the flames. The fiery hand was truly powerful. This further proved that the fiend general wasn't a simple person. He was able to grasp an even deeper level of magic arts. Bang! The fiery hand was about 3 meters long, while Xiao Yunbai was like a weak chicken. He wasn't a match for the fiery hand at all. As expected, the heavenly Heartfinger was swept away by the hand. Not only did it disperse the energy from the fiend general's finger, but it also crushed the heavenly Heartfinger's energy bit by bit. Xiao Yunbai was forced to take a few steps back. The fiend general proudly shouted, "Xiao Yunbai, you're looking down on me. Hurry up and show me your true strength." Who, as an expert of the heavenly flame grotto, the fiend general had experienced many battles. He knew that Xiao Yunbai was still hiding his true strength from this attack. Did he think he could finish him off with this attack? In the blink of an eye, a shocking aura erupted from Xiao Yunbai's body. Above his aura, 9 layers of qi appeared. 9th level of the Dharma Cave realm. He was only a step away from the great circle of the Dharma Cave realm. It was no wonder Xiao Yunbai was a divine ability seedling. In terms of cultivation, Xiao Yunbai had already surpassed the Fiend General. However, the Fiend General was brimming with spiritual energy and was as steady as a mountain. In other words, at the 8th level of the Dharma Cave realm, he possessed the strength of a 9th level cultivator. 9th level of the Dharma Cave realm. Xiao Yunbai, you are indeed a divine ability seedling. This is interesting. Be careful, Mount Fire Cloud. The Fire Fiend General instantly held his breath, and flames burned in his eyes. After he formed the seal, he took a step forward with booming footstep. The flames that shot out from his surroundings were formed by countless spirit tattoos, and it caused the fire clouds that enveloped the Fire Fiend General to come to a stop. Just how much energy was required to create such a magical art? Since your defense is strong, I'll use an unconventional move. You are indeed an expert. Heavenly Heartfinger. Xiao Yunbai's aura was completely different from before. A moment ago, he had been an elegant young master. Now, he had become a divine weapon that could cut through all obstacles. With a buzzing sound, Xiao Yunbai soared into the air once more. His index finger emitted a sizzling golden light as he pointed at the incoming Fiend General. Everyone's eyes widened, waiting for the result. Boom! The golden light pushed out by the heavenly Heartfinger landed on the Fire Cloud defense. The Fire Cloud defense immediately shattered. With an unstoppable force, the golden light shattered the Fire Fiend General's defense. The Fire Fiend General could only stare blankly at the golden light. He wanted to poke a hole in his forehead. Bang! But the golden light stopped just in time. It was just an inch away from shattering the Fiend General's head. Good! Cheers erupted from the crowd. The Fiend General broke out in a cold sweat. Xiao Yunbai, you really are strong. I can't even block one of your attacks, but I'm still in the 8th level. Wait until I reach the 9th level. You won't have such an easy time. Thank you. Xiao Yunbai maintained his calm expression, but his aura was too terrifying. He slowly withdrew his aura. Then I'll wait for you to break through to the 9th level. Here's a reward. At this time, the Zhao Empire's emissary to the left clapped for the two of them. Another expert arrived at the plaza and took out 2 empty pouches. There were treasures and medicinal pills inside, drawing the envy of many people. Who else wants to spar with me? Once the Fiend General left, Xiao Yunbai remained in the formation and cupped his fists in front of everyone. This was a challenge. I am Zhuo Li of the Cloud Cave. I am willing to spar with you. A black-robed man rushed out from one of the immortals' seat. Xiao Yunbai was startled. The black-robed man landed on the ground, revealing a square face with short hair. So it's senior apprentice brother Zhuo. Junior apprentice brother. Zhuo Li had come from the Cloud Cave. It seemed he had known Xiao Yunbai for a long time. That meant this Zhuo Li had once cultivated in a certain training hall in Tianmen province. Chapter 73. Xiao Yunbai nodded. Senior apprentice brother Zhuo, please enlighten me. You and I fought against each other more than 10 years ago. At that time, we also happened to go through a banquet, but at that time, you and I were still too weak. This time is the perfect stage for us to perform. Sword Qi Song. Zhuo Li circulated his aura and formed a hand seal. His energy began to erupt. Unexpectedly, he was also at the 9th level of the Dharma opening realm. A large amount of sword qi flew out of his palm. This was very similar to the sword heart finger. Song in the sky. His body was like a bow, and all his aura was concentrated in his hands. The dozens of sword qi overlapped, forming a shocking sword light. It exploded out under Zhuo Li's control. The sword qi overlapped, and it was as if all the sword qi had a life of their own. Each sword let out a deafening hum. They were so fast that it seemed they were going to eat Xiao Yunbai in one move. Cloud Lion Roar. This time, Xiao Yunbai didn't use his signature Heavenly Heart finger. Instead, he used a magical art that all secret Dao realm disciples in Tianmen province could use. Cloud Lion Roar, however, the Cloud Lion Roar he unleashed took the form of a 10-meter-long lion. With Xiao Yunbai's full strength, the lion leaped forward and bit down on the sword beam with its sharp fangs. Clang! The sword light was filled with a domineering aura, but it was crushed by the lion. The sword qi scattered, and the lion leaped in front of Zhuo Li. Junior apprentice brother, thank you for letting me win. Zhuo Li decisively cupped his fists and admitted defeat. At the same level, he still wasn't Xiao Yunbai's match. He returned to his seat on the right. Stomp! An expert from Tianmen province flew out from the main stage and continued to challenge Xiao Yunbai. But he still couldn't take a single move from Xiao Yunbai. The other experts were all at the same level as Qi Xinshui and Qiulingji. None of them were Xiao Yunbai's match. Senior apprentice brother. In just a short while, several people had been defeated by Xiao Yunbai's sword. Just as more experts were about to give it a try, a woman descended from the heavens. Xiao Yunbai was surprised. He looked at the woman and said, Lu Lan, junior apprentice sister Lu. 6 Lan. It was as though the banquet had arrived. Everyone was staring at and discussing Lu Lan. Most of them were talking about her beauty, but there were also people discussing her background and strength. All in all, she had only been in Tianmen province for 6 years. Had she reached the 9th tier of the Dharma cave state in less than 10 years? It was already a miracle that she was able to reach level 9 of the secret path realm. Could it be that this woman had defied the heavens? It was especially so for the envoys from the Zhao kingdom. Both Lord Pang and Shen Huangqi seemed to be paying attention to Lu Lan. Among the higher-ups of Tianmen province, the leader of the Jade Heron tribe and the Heaven Gates, Saint Emperor, seemed to be having a private conversation. Lu Ming's smug look. Su Fang came back to his senses. He might be very surprised, but he was looking forward to seeing Lu Lan's true strength. Everyone had their own fortuitous encounters. Lu Lan had been hailed as the #1 prodigy since she was young and was a proud daughter of heaven. She must have some outstanding points, and the Lu clan would be a formidable enemy of the Su family in the future. He wanted to see what kind of hidden depths this proud daughter of heaven had. He had also seen Lu Ming standing near the higher-ups and standing out like a crane among chickens. It seemed like Lu Ming had become more presentable after following Lu Lan. It was unknown where Lu Lan got her confidence from, but she dared to exchange moves with Xiao Yunbai. Senior brother, junior sister is courteous. Senior brother doesn't have to show mercy to junior sister. Junior sister, be careful. Both of them were from the same Dao Hall. Xiao Yunbai wasn't the only one who was surprised. The rest of the people were also puzzled. During the banquet, it was rare for geniuses from the same Dao Hall to compete. Xiao Yunbai didn't hold back. He was able to come here because he wanted to be noticed by the envoys from the Zhao Kingdom and the Heaven Gates Saint Emperor to see his talent. Hence, he couldn't give up this great opportunity just because of a woman. Right now, he didn't even release his aura presence. He congealed an ordinary cloud lion's roar and pounced towards Lu Lan. Lu Lan looked weak and frail, and it was hard for her skinny body to burst out with power. However, everyone was wrong. She might not have formed any seals, but when she waved her hand, cold air appeared and turned into chains. Boom! The cold air chains lashed onto the tyrannical cloud lion's roar, and the cloud lion's roar was immediately frozen. The cold ice chains returned to Lu Lan's surroundings. She didn't form any seals and didn't release any aura presence. Xiao Yunbai was shocked. This junior sister, could you have grasped a divine ability? The chains around Lu Lan turned into formless cold air again. That's right. I was fortunate enough to obtain a divine ability inheritance. I directly cultivated the divine ability art and didn't cultivate any sorcery. Divine ability. Once she said this, it was like a rolling thunder. Not only was Xiao Yunbai shocked, but all the disciples and experts from Tianmen province were also shocked. Even the leaders and higher-ups of the Jade Heron division didn't expect Lu Lan to have grasped a divine ability. Amazed the world with a single brilliant feat. The envoys from the Zhao Kingdom were also having a discussion. From their expressions, it could be seen that they didn't believe Lu Lan had grasped a divine ability. Sorcery required the formation of seals, and it mainly came from one's own spirit power. Divine abilities were different. Part of it came from sorcery, and part of it came from the unfathomable nature. What was unfathomable? Heaven fire, heaven thunder, and any power of nature were unfathomable. Cultivators cultivated to grasp divine abilities and comprehend the power of nature. Right now, everyone had the same question in their minds. How was Lu Lan able to grasp a divine ability? Lu Lan, it's no wonder you came looking for me personally to take revenge for Lu Feng. So you have such methods. At this moment, Su Feng finally realized how powerful Lu Lan was. Right now, Lu Lan was like the bright moon in the night sky. Everyone only had her in their eyes. Junior sister is indeed a rare genius in our Jade Heron training ground. Just based on the fact that junior sister has grasped a divine ability, senior brother will admit defeat. Who knew that Xiao Yunbai would leave without a fight? Even if he couldn't grasp a divine ability with his strength, he could still use his advantage in cultivation to defeat Lu Lan. However, he didn't do so. He could see Lu Lan's potential, and it was better for him not to have any conflicts with her. This girl is not bad. Greetings. Suddenly, there was a commotion from one of the seats. A muscular man in armor flew out and landed on the ground, emitting an aura of 500 kilograms. There were still some people who weren't resigned and wanted to take advantage of Lu Lan's short cultivation time to steal her limelight and obtain the reward from the Zhao Kingdom's envoy. Watch my mighty tyrant palm wind. The muscular man's aura burst out, and he was actually an expert at the 8th level of the Dharma whole realm. As he exerted his strength, cracking sounds could be heard from his bones to his joints. He then sprinted straight for Lu Lan. When his right hand struck out with a large amount of force, it turned into an astonishing palm shadow. With the momentum of Mount Tai, he wanted to defeat Lu Lan. Go! Lu Lan had just released her aura and sent out waves of force. It turned out that she was at the 6th level of the Dharma whole realm. The formless cold air was like a long river. With a point of Lu Lan's finger, It swept towards the incoming palm shadow. That palm shadow was immediately sealed in ice, and was soon surrounded by the cold air. Ka ka ka! A cold ice sword chi condensed and instantly pierced through a hole in the palm shadow. Bang! The cold ice sword chi pierced the muscular man's armor. The muscular man didn't know what happened, but his entire body was covered in a layer of cold air. He lost his balance and was sent flying by the cold air. You are not a match for me. An even more divine ability appeared. Lulan actually didn't use any artifacts or magic art. She simply floated in the air along with the cold air and looked down at the muscular man who was struggling on the ground. She didn't have any intention to make a move. All right, watch the reward. The fourth envoy from the Zhao nation shouted loudly. Immediately, an expert flew out and handed an empty bag to Lu Lan in front of everyone while shouting in all directions. Lu Lan bowed to the envoy from the Zhao nation and kept the empty bag. She then looked around and asked, "Is there anyone else who wants to give it a try? Who would dare to go up?" An expert at the 8th level of the Dharma whole realm was easily defeated by her divine ability. Even an expert at the 9th level might not be able to defeat Lu Lan. Furthermore, anyone with discerning eyes could see that she had gained the favor of the envoy from the Zhao nation. Who would dare to go up and take her punishment? The opportunity is here. There might be people who wanted to go up and fight with Lu Lan, but they didn't have the guts to do so. However, no one expected that Su Fang would actually walk out silently. Many people thought that Su Fang was going to do something and didn't pay much attention at first. However, when he flew towards Lu Lan from the rostrum, everyone knew of his motive. Junior brother Su is going. Yu Junqi, Lianzhan, and the others were confused. Qiulingji, who was sitting behind Yang Zhongjue, immediately knitted her brows. She didn't expect Su Fang to go up at this moment. It was obvious that he wanted to challenge Lu Lan. Was he a match for him? Tuya looked at Yang Zhongjue, but Yang Zhongjue spoke first. "Junior brother, isn't this Su Fang from our dojo?" Tuya said, "It is him." Previously, he had hidden himself and performed meritorious deeds twice. The leader knew about it, but we didn't expect him to challenge Lu Lan. Then let's see how this person performs. Our dojo has been lacking talents for the past few years. Yang Zhongjue nodded and said. However, with his secret Dao realm cultivation, he is naturally not a match for Lu Lan. Tuya had some doubts. "Su Fang, you are a reckless fellow. I hope that junior sister won't be polite and will chop him into pieces. Anyway, he is courting death." On the other side, among the experts from the Jade Heron Dojo, Lu Ming's eyes flickered with a sinister and complacent gaze. He was waiting for Su Fang to be taught a lesson by Lu Lan. It seemed like he still remembered how Su Fang stole his spotlight during the summit tournament. He could let Lu Lan take his revenge today. In the plaza, when Lu Lan saw Su Fang flying over, the killing intent in his heart was ignited. "Junior brother Su, I will not be polite." After Su Fang landed, he looked indifferently and said, "Lu Lan, I will not be polite either." "Humph, you are courting death." When enemies met, their eyes would turn red. Lu Lan burst out with his 6th level aura and sent a cold light at Su Fang. Su Fang also burst out with his aura and displayed his 9th level secret Dao realm cultivation in front of everyone. I didn't expect Su Fang to step into the 9th level secret Dao realm from the 1st level within a year. Although it was nothing compared to Lu Lan, Tuya, Qiulingji, and Qi Xinshui were all in disbelief at Su Fang's cultivation. Moreover, from what they knew, Su Fang was only at the 1st level of the secret Dao realm. Normally, he would only be at the 2nd level of the secret Dao realm. No matter how much of a genius he would only be at the 3rd level. However, he actually reached the 9th level secret Dao realm in a year. Even Yang Zhongjue, Ho Ping, and the other upper echelons were attracted by Su Fang. Lu Lan might be the favored daughter of the emperor, but Su Fang wasn't any different. Both of them were geniuses among geniuses. Lu Lan was also very surprised. So you are so incredible to be able to step into the 9th level secret Tao realm in a few years. Back then, you were a cripple. However, are you able to challenge me? You are gravely mistaken. Not. Su Fang executed several seals and looked at the cold light that was approaching. Some demonic aura actually surged out from his skin, making Su Fang look like a demonic Tao monster in the plaza. As expected, Luo Muxue smiled with surprise. Demonic Tao. Countless people trembled and cried out in alarm. Even Lu Lan was so shocked that she took a step back. She might be powerful, but she was naturally afraid of demonic aura. On the rostrum, Yang Zhongjue couldn't help but shake his head. This child is actually able to control demonic aura. Chapter 74. Tu Yueye, Qi Xinshui, and Qiu Lingji were all shocked. Demonic aura was the nemesis of humans. It was also the power that humans feared the most. Even the emissary from the Zhao nation revealed a curious gaze. Although the so-called sparring in front of them was just a formality, if they really found a good seedling, they would naturally pay attention to it. Lord Pang from the Yu Palace nodded towards Shen Huangqi. Brother Shen, this secret Tao realm kid is not bad. It is my first time seeing him control demonic aura. Interesting. He is a talent. Shen Huangqi was also surprised. It was obvious that Su Fang's performance was out of his expectations. Prefecture Lord. At the center of the rostrum at the back, Ho Ping suddenly leaned towards the high and mighty Heaven Gates Saint Emperor, whose aura was even stronger than the emissary from the Zhao nation. The Heaven Gates Saint Emperor said, "I didn't expect so many excellent seedlings to be born under me. Especially Lu Lan and this seedling named Su Fang." Ho Ping, who was in the upper echelon of the prefecture, said, "My lord, what a coincidence. Lu Lan and Su Fang both came from the same place, Tianzong City, which is where the Violet Fortune Kingdom used to be. Lu Lan joined the prefecture earlier, while Su Fang joined 3 years later. Tianzong City is indeed a place filled with outstanding talent. Back then, the Violet Fortune Kingdom used to be a tyrant, but they encountered the Zhao nation. This seedling named Su Fang is very interesting. After the banquet ends, I want to meet him personally." "Yes." Ho Ping returned to his seat and sat up straight. At this moment, Luo Muxue, who was not far away, seemed to have heard the conversation between the prefecture lord of Tianmen province and Ho Ping. She still remained silent. "Even if you can control demonic aura, you are still not a match for my cold light." In the center of the plaza the banquet had just started, and everyone was watching the two seedlings fight with great interest. It was too shocking for them. Lu Lan's aura was even stronger, and he couldn't wait to kill Su Fang. Su Fang chose to dodge. When he saw the cold light was about to kill him, he used the special spirit energy that was fused with demonic aura and left behind an aura field. He then leaped away. Boom! The aura field was instantly shattered by the cold light. Lu Lan turned to the side and stared at Su Fang, who had landed on the ground. With a flash, a sword aura that was condensed from cold air appeared in his hand. With a speed that surpassed Su Fang's speed, the sword aura pierced towards Su Fang's neck. "You couldn't deal with me last time, so don't even think about it this time." Lu Lan closed in step by step, and Su Fang no longer had any place to dodge. He immediately formed hand seals and released quite a number of demonic aura sword chis. They seemed to be from the Phantom Sword Extreme Art, but they were very different. They were just ordinary sword chis. When they combined together, they swept towards Lu Lan. Su Fang was pleasantly surprised. "Xian Wang, you have done well this time. It was you who extracted Dao Wuliang's demonic aura and fused it with the yang qi in my body, allowing me to have a unique energy that has reached a very high level in the Dharma Cave realm. I can barely contend against Lu Lan." "Master, But it is impossible for you to defeat her unless you let Xian Huang use more demonic aura. Xuanhuang's voice echoed in Su Fang's mind. I am just a weakling in the secret Dao realm, and it is already not bad for me to be able to control a portion of the demonic aura. If I control too much, it will inevitably arouse the suspicion of others. I have to execute an even more formidable spell, otherwise I will not be able to obstruct Lu Lan. My objective is to display my prowess in front of the higher-ups and not to compete with Lu Lan. Pa. Just as Su Fang finished speaking, a large number of sword qis clashed with the cold ice sword qis released by Lu Lan. The amount of sword qis was just enough to act as a smokescreen. Su Fang took the opportunity to dodge and went to a more spacious area. Lu Lan was too powerful, and when the cold air shook, all the sword qis vanished. When she turned around, the sword qis in her hand turned into cold ice shackles. You don't have the chance this time. You want to kill me. Su Fang immediately formed a hand seal. Right now, he was going to execute a spell that could obstruct Lu Lan and stall for time. Demonic Fiend Defense. The 9 yang true qi in his body started to coordinate with the demonic aura condensed from the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. With Su Fang as the center, the surrounding demonic aura formed into the shape of a pagoda, suppressing him within. After discussing with Xianhuang, this spell was created by combining the demonic aura and the Xianhuang 6 Paths Pagoda. It was considered a superficial spell, but it was enough to make good use of the demonic aura to defend and protect himself. Demonic Pagoda or Demonic Art. The pagoda with the soaring demonic aura suppressed Su Fang within. The demonic aura was heaven-defying, as though the entire soaring feather peak was condensed by the demonic aura. Everyone felt goosebumps and shivered. On the rostrum, the heavenly gate's Saint Emperor was also praising, brilliant beyond compare. Furthermore, this Su Fang is very smart. His cultivation is far inferior to Lu Lan's, but he used the demonic aura to restrain Lu Lan's power. Demonic aura is hard to suppress. After living for so many years, I have never seen a human who could control the demonic aura. It seems like this Su Fang had obtained some kind of power from the demonic race, allowing him to fuse with the demonic aura and cultivate human martial arts. Ho Ping continued with a sigh. Pa. The cold ice shackles that Lu Lan brandished struck the demonic aura pagoda with great force. Her strength was indeed much stronger than Su Fang, and a single strike tore apart the defense of the demonic aura pagoda. It was just that the demonic aura pagoda had condensed in time, and the demonic aura had restrained the cold ice shackles released by the ice shackles. Therefore, Lu Lan was unable to completely disperse the demonic aura, which gave Su Fang time to condense his defense. The cold ice shackles seemed to have come back to life as they split into a few strands and attacked the demonic aura pagoda. The situation was too disadvantageous for Su Fang, and the only thing that allowed him to persevere was the demonic aura. Lu Lan was also afraid of the demonic aura and didn't dare to get too close. She pondered in her heart, I didn't expect Su Fang to have such a fortuitous encounter. I can kill him, but I will have to execute an even stronger attack. However, I'm afraid that even if I execute it, I won't be able to kill Su Fang. When the higher-ups see that he has such a method, they will definitely stop me from killing him. Therefore, it's better for me not to use my full strength. It's better for me to reveal my true strength. As expected, the two of them couldn't do anything to each other, but it was obvious that Su Fang was in a disadvantageous situation. Ho Ping came to the front of the rostrum and said, Both of you are the geniuses of Tianmen province. It would be meaningless to continue fighting. Coincidentally, there was a way out and also an opportunity. Su Fang raised his voice and said, I am willing to admit defeat. Swish. Swish. Lu Lan immediately withdrew her cold ice shackles. With the ice shackles gone, she became even colder and had an unknown feeling in her heart. Cough, cough. After suppressing the demonic aura and disappearing the pagoda's defense, Su Fang was gasping for breath. It seemed like it wasn't easy for him. Shen Huangqi stood up and applauded the two of them in front of everyone. Lu Lan, Su Fang, the two of you are the geniuses of the present age. Reward them with 10 artifacts and 100 meridian activation elixirs. When the two of them handed the 2 empty bags to the two of them, the envoy congratulated them in front of everyone. At this moment, many people were envious. On the rostrum, the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor raised his hand and said, "The two of you are Yang Wei of the prefecture. Reward." Ho Ping announced loudly, "Lu Lan and Su Fang are rare geniuses. From now on, the two of them will be members of the inner prefecture and will enjoy the personal grooming of the prefecture head." Many thanks to the prefecture head. Lu Lan and Su Fang bowed on the spot. On the rostrum, Yang Zhongjue called Qiu Lingji and Qi Xinshui over. "Didn't the two of you realize that Su Fang has such potential?" Qiu Lingji said, "During the previous summit tournament, we had already treated him as a key seedling to nurture. In just one short year, I didn't expect his growth to be so astonishing. Ever since he joined the Silver Moon team, his performance has been rather good. However, this child is well versed in the art of concealment." Yang Zhongjue wasn't in a good mood. "Just now, Lord Ho asked me some questions regarding Su Fang, and I almost couldn't answer. In the future, as long as there is a seedling with potential, we will have to pay attention to it early. Don't let such things happen again. Now that Su Fang has been allowed to enter the inner prefecture, he is no longer a member of the Flying Feather Army. Inner prefecture. No one would have thought that an ordinary disciple would be able to amaze everyone at the once-in-a-decade prefecture banquet in Tianmen province and enter the most powerful inner prefecture. Su Fang, don't be complacent. You killed a member of the Lu clan. I will settle this score with you sooner or later." After arriving at the rostrum and receiving an audience with the higher-ups, as well as the emissary from the Zhao nation, Lu Lan shot a cold glance at Su Fang before he left. Su Fang smiled faintly. Life was full of ups and downs. It wasn't time yet. Only 6 years had passed since he left Tianzong City. In these 6 years, he had almost surpassed Lu Lan. In another 4 years it would be 10 years later. By then, he would definitely surpass Lu Lan. The banquet continued, but most people were still discussing the battle scene. It wasn't until dusk that all the disciples started to disperse. The emissary from the Zhao nation and the higher-ups from the Tianmen province stayed behind. Apart from Yang Zhongjue, Tu Yuyi, Qiu Lingji, Qi Xinshui, and the others, Su Fang also stayed behind. This was Ho Ping's idea. As he was now a member of the inner prefecture, he was considered one of the higher-ups in Tianmen province. However, he was just going through the motions and had been standing at the edge. He was the one who did all the chores. At this moment, all the cave masters and emissaries from the Zhao nation were gathered at the rostrum. The emissaries from the Zhao nation were asking the cave masters about the current situation in their respective territories. Su Fang secretly realized that Shen Huangqi and Luo Muxue were acting like they weren't familiar with each other. However, the relationship between the two of them wasn't normal. It wasn't until late at night that Ho Ping and the others led the emissary from the Zhao nation back to the inner prefecture to rest. The higher-ups also gradually dispersed. "Su Fang, you have really made my Flying Feather Dao sect proud this time." Military Strategy Hall. Tu Yuyi and Qiu Lingji were sizing up Su Fang. They also asked Su Fang to sit down. At this moment, his status was no longer an ordinary disciple. Tu Yuyi was full of praises. "You were rewarded by the prefecture lord and the emissary from the Zhao nation. This means that you won't be one of the higher-ups in Tianmen province in the future. Then, you might go to the Zhao nation to serve the empire. Tianmen province often has talents that are absorbed by the Zhao nation." Yi Yun was apologetic. It's not easy for me to have such an opportunity to become outstanding. Thus, I have been cultivating hard in secret. Please forgive me for my difficulties. Tu Yi nodded. Everyone is working hard. No matter if it's a Tao sect or a cave abode, everyone has their own secret. Anyway, since you came out from the Flying Feather Tao sect, it means that you have made a name for the Flying Feather Tao sect. You should go back and rest first. In a few days, the Mu Prefecture will issue a transfer order, and you will go to the inner prefecture to serve. Su Fang stood up and bowed. Then, he quickly left the military strategy hall. In the main hall, Qiulingji looked at Tu Yi. Senior brother, the emissary and the prefecture lord are going to discuss how to deal with the Heavenly Jade Mountain. I'm afraid that my Flying Feather Army will have to take the lead again. This matter is still being planned. The Heavenly Jade Mountain is the representative of many rebel factions. If they really want to take action against the Emperor of Feathers, it won't be a matter of 1 or 2 years. Tu Yi shook his head. This matter is still in a confidential state. We have to keep it a secret. Ascending Feather Palace, the bright moon hung high in the sky. Su Fang stood in the courtyard. At this moment, he really felt a sense of relief. I didn't expect that I would be chosen by the Tianmen Holy Emperor and be transferred to the inner prefecture. There's a higher possibility of investigating the murderer who murdered my father. However, this matter isn't simple. If it's related to the Emperor of Yu, even if I work in the Mu Prefecture, I won't be able to become Ho Ping's trusted aide. At least my identity is different now. I can use this identity to let Su Yan, Su Yi, and the others receive special training. After returning to his room, he only calmed down after a long time. After eating a piece of fire snake fruit and a meridian relaxation pill, his body began to cleanse again. He tried to break through to the Dharma Insight realm. At that time, he would be able to control magic treasures and step on flying swords. Chapter 75. After the banquet, a large number of disciples from the Flying Feather Dojo came to congratulate Su Fang. Now, he was considered a real figure in Tianmen province. Su Fang, on the other hand, was focused on breaking through to the 10th stage of the Secret Path realm. A few days later, the transfer order arrived at the Military Council Hall. Military Council Hall Yang Zhongjue brought Tu Yue and a few other higher-ups and announced the transfer order in front of everyone. Su Fang, the transfer order is here. From now on, you are a member of the Inner Sanctum and will serve the Inner Sanctum. Your cultivation will also revolve around the Inner Sanctum. Immediately report to the Inner Sanctum. This disciple will not let down the Flying Feather Dojo's nurturing. Leader, please rest assured that this disciple will still serve the Flying Feather Army. Su Fang bowed to Yang Zhongjue and the other higher-up. Under everyone's gazes, Su Fang followed Tuye and left the Flying Feather Peak. Inner Sanctum. This was the second most majestic mountain peak in Tianmen province. The Inner Sanctum was led by the sky-bearing Saint Emperor, and it was led by many dojos. Any transfer order or mission in Tianmen province would have to go through the Inner Sanctum. In front of the plaza, a few experts from the Inner Sanctum were waiting. Su Fang followed Tuye to the plaza and was led to the Inner Sanctum by a few people. Su Fang had been to the Inner Sanctum a few times. Although he had never entered, he had seen many of the Inner Sanctum's disciples. The Inner Sanctum's disciples were all at the Dharma Whole realm, and they remembered Su Fang as a prodigy with an outstanding performance during this banquet. Lu Lan, I really met you. After getting to know more experts, he stepped into the main hall. Not only did he see Ho Ping, but he also saw a few other higher-ups who had a strict aura and held great authority. He also saw Lu Lan. Lu Lan had also received the transfer order like him, and was officially reporting to the Inner Sanctum today. Lu Lan, Su Fang, the two of you performed outstandingly during this banquet. The prefecture lord also praised the two of you. From today onwards, you will be a member of the inner sanctum. Ho Ping was the representative of the upper echelon, sizing up the two of them. The inner sanctum controls all of the Taoist temples, and is responsible for all aspects of the sect, as well as dealing with all of the immortals' caves. Once you become a member of the inner sanctum, you and your clan will receive special treatment. You've only been in the inner sanctum for a few years, so we don't plan on giving you any missions outside of the sanctum. You'll be in charge of dealing with the various Taoist temples, patrolling and registering the missions that the Taoist temples carry out. When Ho Ping finished speaking, someone took out a new token and handed it over to Lu Lan and Su Fang while keeping the old token. Ho Ping called over a man beside him. Chu Zifeng, you'll be in charge of taking care of these two newcomers for the next few years. Of him, Senior Brother Chu. Su Fang bowed to Chu Zifeng first. Chu Zifeng nodded and immediately looked at Lu Lan. Lu Lan nodded slightly, but Chu Zifeng was the first to respond. Seeing this, Su Fang smiled faintly and thought to herself, Lu Lan. Even an expert like Chu Zifeng will have to give her face. Who asked Lu Lan to have a relationship with the Zhao kingdom? Chu Zifeng immediately brought the two of them to the second floor. There were a few layers of array spaces here. Chu Zifeng briefly introduced the inner sanctum and found out that there weren't many disciples in the inner sanctum. There were only about 30 of them. Although there weren't many disciples, they were all elites among elite. For example, Chu Zifeng was at the 10th stage of the Dharma Whole realm. The inner sanctum had 3 levels. The first level was responsible for reception. The second level was responsible for the internal affairs of Tianmen province. The third level was for the affairs between the inner sanctum and the Zhao kingdom. There were only a few people who could go to the third level, and they were all at the divine power realm. Su Fang sighed in her heart. If the mission that her father carried out was related to the King of Yu, then only divine power realm experts or people who could enter the third level would know what the mission was. People like Chu Zifeng probably didn't have the qualifications to know. It is almost impossible for me to find out about the mission from the inner sanctum unless I reach the divine power realm. Since the King of Yu is the current imperial prince, the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor must have personally come into contact with him. Therefore, there are probably not many people who truly know about the mission. She was thinking about how to find out about the mission from the past. After thinking about it, she felt that it was almost impossible. This was a secret between the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor and the Zhao kingdom. How could the people below know about it so easily? Su Fang, you will be in charge of the affairs of the Flying Dragon Division and the Flying Feather Division during this period. Understand the overall situation of the two divisions. In the afternoon, after Chu Zifeng's introduction, the day finally ended. Profound Wind Hall located halfway up the mountain to the left of the plaza, there were several palaces here, and the Profound Wind Hall was the palace where Su Fang cultivated in the inner sanctum. Compared to the Feather Ascension Hall, the Profound Wind Hall had 3 floors, and its area was much larger. Everywhere was inlaid with gems, and each floor was inlaid with 3 spirit stones. This was a treatment that the Feather Ascension Hall did not have. This time, I received Shun Huangqi's reward. There are 10 more magic weapons and several flying swords. Although they are all spirit treasures, their quality is very good. The Zhao Kingdom's treasures really are the best. Inside the pavilion, Su Fang was currently tidying up the items. Properly categorizing the treasures, she placed them into an empty bag. The next day, Flying Feather Dojo. Military Council Hall closed to noon. Su Fang returned to the Military Council Hall as an inner sanctum disciple. She had come to carry out official business. Junior apprentice Brother Su, after killing Hong Yuetian, the Crimson Swallow Emperor's troops also withdrew from the Star Dual Sand Plains. Currently, we plan to continue to eliminate several other groups of bandits. Tu Yuya and Su Fang sat side by side. As if she was talking to an equal, she very politely introduced the Flying Feather Army's recent situation. After many battles these past few years, my Flying Feather Army needs to replenish its manpower. We plan to transfer 30 people from other dojos to cultivate. Su Fang recorded everything. When afternoon came, Su Fang said, "Senior apprentice brother, this one has a personal matter to trouble you with. Junior apprentice brother, don't be so polite. Although you went to the inner sanctum, you are still a member of my Flying Feather Army." Tuyue also hoped that Su Fang would interact with the Flying Feather Army. This way, many things would be easier to resolve and communicate. My family Su still has 6 seedlings cultivating in other dojos. Some of them have already broken through to the secret path realm in the past 7 years. I just have to trouble senior apprentice brother to transfer 2 of them to my Flying Feather Dojo to cultivate. This way, I can be at ease. It turned out that Su Fang wanted to start cultivating the seedlings of his family Su. He even praised Su Yen and the others in front of Tuyue. Indeed, these few people had taken a large number of channel relaxation pills. They had already surpassed the ordinary seedlings, and their cultivation levels were also rising steadily. Overall, they were almost at the secret path realm. Although they were still a little lacking compared to geniuses like Lu Ming, with a large number of channel relaxation pills in the future, they would catch up to Lu Ming sooner or later. Tuyue immediately agreed. "Junior apprentice brother, don't worry. I will get someone to take care of this matter. It just so happens that our criteria for selecting talents here is also the secret path realm. You know this is a small matter." "Thank you, senior apprentice brother. This one still has to go to the Flying Dragon tribe. I will visit you again in a few days." Su Fang bade farewell to the military council hall and flew to the Flying Dragon tribe, which was just a mountain away. This time at the Flying Dragon Dojo, Su Fang saw an old acquaintance. It was Li Yuandong, who also came from Tianzong City. Other than him, there were 2 other seedlings from the Lu family. The 3 of them did not seem to know that Su Fang had become an insider. Ordinary disciples like them were not qualified to know what happened at the banquet in Tianmen province. Of course, he also met Lu Piaran, who he had fought against at the tournament. This person was a member of the Flying Dragon Army. He already knew about Su Fang's amazing performance at the banquet. Now, he was a famous figure. Seeing Su Fang again made Lu Piaran feel that it was too surreal. A year ago, he was just an ordinary disciple like him. Who knew that he would become an insider's disciple now? A few days passed. Inside the Hall of Secrets, the central array space deep in the first floor. It was Su Fang's first time here. Only people like Chu Zifeng could enter, and Su Fang was still a newcomer. When Su Fang saw Ho Ping, he immediately bowed. "Sir, you called Su Fang here. Do you have any instructions for me?" Ho Ping said, "The prefecture master wants to see you." Prefecture master? Su Fang was stunned. He really did not believe that the Tianmen Saint Emperor wanted to see him. The prefecture master has used his supreme ability, condensing his will to come here. Although this is not his main body, it is still equivalent to the prefecture master. Wait a moment. Ho Ping struck a hand seal. The empty array barrier behind him slowly glowed with spiritual light. He then looked at Su Fang. "Your performance this time was outstanding, so you were able to receive the prefecture master's summons." Su Fang maintained his composure, but he was still somewhat alarmed. Originally at the Star Duel's sand plains, Dao Wuliang and the Tianmen Saint Emperor exchanged blows. Even the fox demons from the southern border were injured by the Tianmen Saint Emperor. This person was indeed powerful. Even the fox demons said he was unfathomable. Facing this kind of absolute overlord, who could maintain a calm heart? The array's spiritual light slowly condensed. A figure appeared from within. It was the Tianmen Saint Emperor. In his mind, Su Fang's worries drew mysterious yellow's reminder. Master, this Tianmen Saint Emperor already possesses a certain ability in the aspect of primordial spirit. He can separate his primordial spirit from his body. This is equivalent to his soul speaking to you. As expected of the overlord of the present age. This was an ability that Su Fang did not even dare to imagine. Su Fang bowed. Lord Prefecture Master. No need for formalities. The lifelike Tianmen Saint Emperor calmly nodded. This time at the prefecture banquet, you allowed this lord to see your extraordinariness. Tianmen Province is extremely fortunate to have a genius like you. Su Fang said. Without Tianmen Province's nurturing, there would be no Su Fang today. Ho Ping, in a moment, issue a decree to Tianzong City. From now on, the family Su is Tianzong City's #1 family. In the future, the family Su seedlings can go to Tianmen Province to cultivate at any time. The family Su seedlings also need to be properly nurtured. Yes. Many thanks, Prefecture Master. It is not easy to have a good seedling. Su Fang, you still need to cultivate diligently. Just this bit of cultivation is still not enough to establish yourself in Tianmen Province. The Tianmen Saint Emperor issued a decree, and the figure instantly dispersed. Farewell, Prefecture Master. Ho Ping immediately bowed. The formation quickly returned to normal, and the Tianmen Saint Emperor was nowhere to be seen. Ho Ping sat down and said, The decree will be sent to Tianzong City within a month. Su Fang, you have already brought honor to your family Su. In this vast territory, there are definitely no more than 3 families that can receive a decree personally sent by the prefecture master. And your family Su has this decree, which is equivalent to a protective talisman given by Tianmen Province. Even the immortal caves have to give face to this decree. This disciple will not disappoint prefecture master. Indeed, as Ho Ping said, the significance of this decree was extraordinary. It was enough to change the family Su's current situation. After leaving the formation space, Su Fang's heart was still unable to calm down. There was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. Sooner or later, he would have to return what he took from others. Xianfeng Palace, the Tianmen Saint Emperor is too unfathomable. In the process of breaking through to the 10th level of the secret passage, Su Fang was thinking about what happened today. He suddenly felt that it was not a good thing. In the future, if I do something that goes against Tianmen Province, won't the Tianmen Saint Emperor grab hold of my weakness, and the Tianmen Province can threaten my family Su at any time? The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. It seemed that in front of the Tianmen Saint Emperor, he could not compare at all. Hoo-hoo! Suddenly, a gust of wind and sound waves appeared in the deep space outside the palace. Su Fang immediately stopped cultivating. Author's words. My new book is already 30,000 words. According to the website's regulations, 20,000 words should be placed on the VIP shelf. I am still fighting for more free words. I have to be busy on Monday. Chapter 76. When Su Fang walked out of the hall, he saw Crane Fairy Bai Ling landing on the ground. Luo Muxue also flew towards him like a fairy. Lord! Su Fang was confused, wondering why Luo Muxue came this time. After thinking for a while, he wondered if Shun Huangqi was going to give the order to transfer him to Zhao country to serve King Lang. Luo Muxue ordered Bai Ling to guard the door. Su Fang didn't even have a chance to talk to Bai Ling and followed Luo Muxue into the hall. She waved her hand, and a formation enveloped the surroundings. What a magical method! Luo Muxue was indeed a capable warrior under the Tianmen Saint Emperor. Luo Muxue said, I came to see you in the middle of the night because of a sudden change. There will be a transfer order to Tianmen Province tomorrow, so I came to inform you. Su Fang was shocked. Could it be that I'm going to Zhao country? Luo Muxue nodded coldly. Yes, it's indeed Zhao country, but there's a change. This time, the transfer order was not given by King Lang, but by King Yu. King Yu? How could it be this person? He was shocked. King Yu gave the transfer order, which meant that King Yu wanted him to serve him. Why not King Lang? Sure enough, there was a change. And in this, he deeply understood that he was just a chess piece that could only be manipulated by others. Su Fang quickly regained his composure. Didn't Lord Shun Huangqi say that he wanted me to serve King Lang? When Lord Shun left Tianmen province last time, he secretly made a preliminary plan with me. When he returned to the Zhao country, he recommended you to the prince and then gave the transfer order. But Lord Shen sent a letter saying that the people he buried around King Yu knew that Pound was the messenger who came on behalf of King Yu. They also recommended you to King Yu, and King Yu agreed. Then, Pound was one step ahead and gave the transfer order to Tianmen province. Luo Muxue analyzed. The change came too suddenly. When the banquet ended, the manor lord received the envoys one by one and sent them off. I didn't know what Pang De said to the manor lord. However, from the news that Lord Shen suddenly sent over, Pang De had already taken a fancy to your potential on the day of the banquet and wanted to recruit you. How did a nobody like me catch Pound's eye? Su Fang still couldn't understand. Oh, you, who told you to control Demon Qi? This is an unheard of existence. Moreover, the King of Yu is famous for being fond of recruiting strange people or collecting rare treasures. Among the 3 great princes of the Zhao country, the King of Yu is the most powerful. Moreover, the 3 great princes have been fighting in private for many years. Each of them has the power to overturn the government and the common people, dominating a region and controlling many forces. For example, Tianmen province may have long become the power of the 3 great princes. Then this subordinate. Aren't you going to get close to King Yu to find the person who killed your father? Su Fang suddenly understood. My lady, does this mean that Lord Shun has agreed to let me work for the King of Yu? Luo Muxue's gaze suddenly froze. You only need to follow the orders of Tianmen province. My lady's intention is to let you deal with all changes by sticking to the status quo. Since the King of Yu wants to recruit you, you will work for him. It's just right for you to lie low beside the King of Yu. You can also investigate the person who killed your father and use the power of the King of Yu to achieve your goal of revenge. This subordinate understands. I will follow the orders. At this moment, Su Fang was looking forward to working for the King of Yu. This way, he would be able to find the person who killed his father and the family heirloom. Sir Shen's letter also mentioned that King Yu wanted Pound to secretly form a mysterious faction. Sir Shen wants you to do your best to infiltrate that faction. That way, you'll be able to make contributions and slowly come into contact with King Yu. At least from what I can see, King Yu's relationship with King Yu is not ordinary. Your father's death is definitely related to the 2 of them. This is your best chance for revenge, so I won't keep you here. Here's an empty pouch that Sir Shen told me to give you. There's an extremely important jade slip inside. It contains the method to contact Sir Shen after you enter Zhao. Luo Muxue stood up. Under the cover of the night, she gave him instructions one by one. Finally, she placed an empty bag on the table. Su Fang, I'm the one who recommended you to the King of Yu. Although we haven't known each other for a long time, I still hope that you will become a big shot in the future. Be careful everywhere you go. This subordinate will not forget my lady's kindness in recommending me and grooming me. After sending Luo Muxue off, Su Fang was in a daze for a long time. He didn't expect that his life would usher in such a big turning point. The kingdom of Zhao, he was about to step into that world of cultivation. He released the empty bag. Not only was there a jade slip inside, but there were also 300 Dharma whole realm channel relaxation pills and more than a dozen kinds of magical technique. Shen Huangqi wants to help me step into the Dharma whole realm and step into the transcendent realm step by step. 300 channel relaxation pills was already an astronomical number. Moreover, they were all Dharma whole realm grade. Even Luo Muxue couldn't take out so many high-grade channel relaxation pills. Shen Huangqi took out such a valuable gift because he sincerely wanted to nurture Su Fang. He activated the jade slip again. There were indeed many words inside, but they were all code words and a few locations. This was the way to secretly contact Shen Huangqi when he went to the kingdom of Zhao in the future. Crack! After memorizing it, he crushed the jade slip, not leaving any evidence. Thinking that he was about to go to the kingdom of Zhao, Su Fang didn't sleep for the whole night. He continued to swallow channel relaxation pills and tried to break through to the 10th layer of the secret path. He estimated that he would be able to step into the 10th layer in a short time. The next day, just as Luo Muxue said, Chu Zifeng brought a few people to the Profound Wind Palace. He said that there was an important matter and he had to hurry to the inner palace. When he arrived at the inner palace, Su Fang saw 3 experts in embroidered clothes. Ho Ping immediately introduced them to him. It turned out that the 3 of them were envoys sent by King Yu. After the introduction, a thin man with a pair of sharp eyebrows said, "Su Fang, Lord Pang ordered you to follow us to the kingdom of Zhao immediately. The order has been given to your palace, Lord." Ho Ping was happy for Su Fang. "Su Fang, the palace lord has already received confirmation. You should quickly go back and prepare. Before noon, you will leave with the 3 lords." After bowing, Su Fang rushed back to the Profound Wind Palace. He tidied up, leaving behind an ordinary empty bag. He had Xian Wang absorb the other treasures into the pagoda. "I can't inform cousin and the others. There's also Sister Bai. However, Sister Bai should know about this." After rushing back to the inner palace, before leaving, Su Fang asked Ho Ping to take good care of his family's Su seedlings in the future. Then, he quickly followed the 3 people to summon their flying sword. He stepped on one of the flying swords and immediately flew into the sky. Tianmen Province's highest mountain, Forbidden Area. Ho Ping rode his mount to the peak of the mountain and happened to see Tianmen's Saint Emperor gazing into the distance. "Palace Lord." Tianmen's Saint Emperor seemed to be mumbling to himself. "Su Fang is a blank piece of paper to King Yu. If this blank piece of paper is nurtured well, Su Fang will become a sharp sword in his hand in the future. Palace Lord, could it be that you are reluctant to part with this child?" Ho Ping asked curiously. "It's not that I am reluctant to part with him. It's just that Shen Huangqi was once very interested in this child. Now that he is given to King Yu, it will offend King Lang instead. But fortunately, it's just a seedling. I think King Lang won't care too much about this kind of thing. I also don't want to be sandwiched between the 2 great princes. If we provide talents for the great princes in Zhao country, it will also be beneficial to our Tianmen province in the future." The 2 great figures, standing at the peak of Tianmen province, silently communicated like this. "Holy Maiden Peak, brother, when can we meet again? You must come back alive to see me." He Xianzi Bailing stood on a big tree watching Su Fang leave. A drop of tears fell from her eyes. As for not far away, Luo Muxue walked in the forest, looking at the sky from time to time. "I've sent another talent to Godfather. I hope Godfather can complete his great task soon so that I can leave this place." In the white clouds, 3 sword rays cut through the sky and flew across the vast land. Su Fang stared behind him. He could no longer see Tianmen Province. Soon, he would leave Tianmen Province's territory and enter the boundless Zhao country. "Wait, Lu Xiong." The man with sword-like eyebrows suddenly waved his hand, and the flying sword immediately slowed down. After a while, a sword aura also flew from the direction of Tianmen Province. A middle-aged man in black rode the flying sword and met up with the 3 masters in the blink of an eye. The man in black cupped his fist to the man with sword-like eyebrows. "Brother Qin, I went to Tianzong City and have already grasped Su Fang's background." "My background?" Su Fang was surprised. He suddenly understood that it was not easy to serve King Yu. Since he wanted to use him, he naturally had to know his background. The man with the surname Qin introduced himself. I am Qin Xianling, sent by Lord Pang to pick you up. You don't have to panic. This is Lord Pang's order. He just wants to understand your background and family background. Because you are about to serve the great princes, your past must be investigated clearly. I understand. Su Fang nodded. Let's continue our journey. We will only reach Zhao country tomorrow afternoon. Before sunset, let's find a place to rest. Qin Xianling led Lu Xiong and the other three and rode the flying sword together. He took Su Fang and flew further away. Along the way, they passed by many deserted places. They only stopped when dusk came. In a valley, a bonfire burned. Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong sat on one side. Su Fang was left. The other two were responsible for patrolling. These people are so powerful, especially Qin Xianling. I'm afraid he is a transcendent realm master. He did not release any aura from the beginning, so I can't see his cultivation level. The others are a little tired when riding the flying sword, but his breathing is normal. The surroundings were very quiet. Only the crackling of the bonfire could be heard. Bang! Unexpectedly, Su Fang, who was resting and secretly condensing his qi, suddenly felt an impact on his body. 10 layers of energy blew away the bonfire. Even Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong stood up unexpectedly. The two did not get close to Su Fang. Lu Xiong said, so he broke through to the 10th layer of the secret path. Brother Qin, why would an ordinary cultivator at the 10th layer of the secret path be valued by Lord Pang? Lord Pang came to the banquet in Tianmen province last time. It seems that he saw something different about this kid. Lu Xiong, you and I are working for Lord Pang. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, Qin Xianling reminded coldly. Lu Xiong nodded and watched Su Fang's breakthrough with Qin Xianling. Breaking through is too difficult. Luckily, these people are here to take me to Zhao country. If they were enemies, they would have taken the chance to kill me. Su Fang, who was in the middle of breaking through, was scared. He did not feel happy at all. No matter what, he had gone from the 9th layer of the secret path to the 10th layer. He had finally reached the peak of the secret path realm. The next step was to break through to the Dharma opening realm. Once he reached the Dharma opening realm, he would be able to use his Dharma power to control flying swords. He would also be able to use higher-level Dharma spells and Dharma treasures. When the sun rose, Qin Xianling did not care that Su Fang had just broken through to the 10th layer. He gathered the other two and gave each of them a meridian-loosening pill. Then he told Su Fang to prepare to leave. Su Fang secretly ate a fire serpent fruit. Although he looked weak, the 1,000-year-old fire serpent fruit and the meridian-loosening pill gave him unexpected medicinal effect. When he left, he was still in the middle of breaking through. While flying, he could only do his best to control his qi. Chapter 77. More and more cities started to appear on the ground. When Su Fang noticed it, he could clearly feel the spirit qi in this place. He looked into the distance and saw a vast empire. 2 hours later, the state of Zhao suddenly appeared in front of Su Fang. In addition to the surging spiritual qi, there were countless cities located on the ground. The spiritual qi in the world seemed to come from some kind of mysterious energy under the ground of the country of Zhao. It could be a kind of Dharma treasure or a kind of array. Anyway, the spirit qi was stored in the state of Zhao. Not to mention the cultivators, even the mortals living here could live to 100 years old. This was the difference between the state of Tianzong and the state of Tianzong. The state of Tianzong didn't have such thick spirit qi. Only the most powerful cultivators could create this kind of spirit qi. Without waiting for Su Fang to come back to his senses, a large city that connected all directions appeared clearly in front of Su Fang as the flying sword slowed down. This is the city of Babao that the emperor gave to the prince. The prince's mansion is in the central city. It is the largest mansion there. After Qin Xianling finished speaking, the 4 flying swords flew towards the central city. The city of Babao. No wonder there were 8 cities surrounding the central city. The city of Babao was given to the king of Yu by the emperor. It meant that the king of Yu had the power to kill in the city of Babao. He was undoubtedly a small emperor. Su Fang finally understood what it meant to be a prince. No wonder the emperor of Tianzong had to be polite to someone like Pound at the banquet in Tianmen province. If someone offended the prince, the entire Tianmen province could be destroyed in a day. The prince's mansion is so big. It feels like a palace. A luxurious mansion that occupied an area of tens of thousands of acres and was built with city walls shocked Su Fang greatly. Qin Xianling. When he was 10 feet away from the prince's mansion, a dozen warriors in black armor suddenly appeared in the air. They were all at the Dharma Cave State. Qin Xianling came to the gate of the prince's mansion. He put away his flying sword and walked into the prince's mansion. Grand style. As soon as they entered the mansion, they saw that the floor was paved with jade stones. Every 3 steps there would be a gemstone inlaid. Every 100 steps there would be a spirit stone inlaid. Just think about how many gems and spirit stones are needed for such an area of the prince's mansion. When the state of Zhao destroyed so many nations in the past, the treasures they looted were probably used in these places. He was secretly shocked. Looking around, he could see a group of 10 patrolling soldiers passing by. Outsiders were basically unable to enter unless they were peerless experts. The king's mansion is divided into 3 palaces. The first palace is the outer mansion, the second palace is the inner mansion, and the third palace is the Forbidden Palace. That is where the king and the crown prince live. Without a summons, apart from the patrolling soldiers, no one is allowed to enter the Forbidden Palace. We, the guests of the king's mansion, are not considered soldiers, nor are we considered servants. We are the personal guards of the king. Although we are called guests of the king's mansion, we are actually the king's personal guards. The more powerful you are, the higher your status. For example, Lord Pang is someone who can freely enter and leave the Forbidden Palace. We guests of the king's mansion can only live in the outer mansion. The king's mansion is very large, and we can all enjoy the inner mansion for cultivation and rest. After passing through the high walls, they arrived at an empty space that was close to the plaza. Qin Xianling led them to the various palaces and pavilions. After passing through the corridors, they arrived at the inner part of the king's mansion. They immediately saw many palaces scattered on both sides. Qin Xianling introduced Su Fang to the king's mansion. After passing through several corridors, he led Su Fang to one of the palaces. This is the Cloud-Gathering Garden. Lord Pang has given this place to you. In the future, you can cultivate here. Lord Pang will summon you when he has time. If you have any needs, you can find a female servant. If there's anything you don't understand, you can also come find me. The people living in the surrounding palaces are all guests of the king's mansion like you and me. They all have good relationships with each other, but there are also some infighting. The Cloud-Gathering Garden. Qin Xianling, Lu Xiong, and the other 2 stopped in front of the main door. After explaining some of the essential information to Su Fang, the 4 of them left. Immediately, 2 female servants appeared from the corridor and bowed to Su Fang. They were responsible for serving Su Fang and leading Su Fang into the Cloud-Gathering Garden. The Cloud-Gathering Garden only had a 2-story pavilion. There were many potted plants in the courtyard, and it was very elegant and quiet. The interior of the pavilion had already been tidied up. Everywhere, it showed the extravagance of the king's mansion. Gemstones could be seen everywhere. There were about 10 spirit stones embedded in the stairs, doors, and beams. The 2 female servants obediently guarded the main hall. When they saw Su Fang coming down from the 2nd floor, they said, "Lord, if you are dissatisfied with anything, I will rearrange it." "Very good. Here are 2 meridian relaxation pills. take them. Su Fong grabbed the 2 meridian relaxation pills that belonged to the flesh-body realm and rewarded them to the female servant. Thank you, Lord, for your reward. The female servant was so happy that she could not close her mouth. In the future, without my permission, you are not allowed to step onto the 2nd floor. If anyone comes to the Cloud Gathering Garden, inform me immediately. Also, make tea for the guests. Yes. After giving the instructions, he went to the 2nd floor. He walked around and came to the window. There were many palaces and pavilions in the outer mansion, but he could not see the inner mansion or the Forbidden Palace. After swallowing a fire snake fruit and a meridian relaxation pill, he sat cross-legged in front of the window. He immediately activated his Qi and began to condense his Qi to cultivate. After reaching the 10th layer of the secret passage, there was a mysterious feeling of lifting something heavy as if it was light. It was as if he could lift his body off the ground without needing to control it. I am about to reach the Dharma opening realm. Ordinary spells like Cloud Lion Roar and Sword Heartfinger are useless. I can continue to cultivate the ultimate Phantom Sword Art and Dragon Snake Roll. Especially the Dragon Snake Roll. Although it is a basic spell, it is very useful. I can also incorporate some changes into it. His body became lighter and lighter, and he began to slowly settle down. Xian Huang's voice appeared in his mind. Master, you can combine some of Xian Huang's seals and turn them into an offensive spell. When combined with Xian Huang's true body, its power will be limitless. It can also draw out Dao Wuliang's power. This way, you won't need to use up your power. After receiving the reminder, he immediately communicated with Xian Huang. He also told Dao Wuliang to listen to Xian Huang's orders at all times. Otherwise, he would have a taste of the demon-revealing mirror's power. Heaven-suppressing tower. Good. This spell is called that. A few days later, Su Fong suddenly came to the center of the room. During this time, he had learned a lot of seals from Xian Huang. If it weren't for Xian Huang, he wouldn't have been able to use the Xian Huang 6 Paths Pagoda. He was currently lacking a powerful offensive spell. After forming the seals, he spat out some energy from his body. As he separated his hands, the energy fused together and transformed into a 3-meter-tall pagoda. The pagoda was also 6 stories tall, but its appearance was quite different from the 6 Paths Pagoda. It only had a rough outline. Heaven-suppressing tower, this was Su Fong's unique spell. Young master, someone just sent an order. Tonight, there will be a banquet at the Gathering Heroes Pavilion. You must be there on time. A maid suddenly called out from downstairs. Stopping his cultivation, he absorbed the heaven-suppressing tower into his palm. After tidying it up, he went to the 1st floor and called the maid over. He asked, "There are many guests in the prince's residence. I just entered the residence, so I have to be careful not to offend them. Tell me, who are the most powerful people here?" The maid thought for a moment and answered cleverly, "All the guests are under Lord Pound's charge. Sometimes the housekeeper will also come to take a look. Our prince's residence has more than 100 guests. Most of them are Transcendent Realm experts. Only a few are Dharma Insight Realm experts. Only Lord is in the Secret Path Realm, so I can't answer this question." Another maid said, "Lord, there are 6 Vajras among the guests. They were personally appointed by His Highness. The 6 Vajras all have extraordinary abilities. They are the strongest among the guests. Most of them are in the Transcendent Realm. Then how could he, a Secret Path Realm expert, establish himself here? What a headache. It seemed that even if he came to the prince's residence, he wouldn't be able to become an important person. He would have to make contributions step by step to gain Pound's attention. What are the 6 Vajras? I have to break through to the Dharma Insight Realm as soon as possible. Once I reach the Dharma Insight Realm, I will have the qualifications to establish a foothold. Also, I heard from Luomushue that King Yu wants to establish some faction. She wants me to infiltrate it. After chatting with the maid for a while, he was led by one of them and left Cloud Gathering Garden. Soon, a 2-story red pavilion that was much taller than the palace was located in the center of the outer residence. Juxiong Pavilion. Su Fang asked the maid to wait outside. When he entered the first floor, he first saw the prince's residence guards standing guard in all directions. The hall was very spacious. When he came to the second floor, he saw a large square table. Dozens of guests had arrived early and were drinking tea and chatting. Being here, he felt like he had come to the world of transcendent realm experts. Most of them didn't hide their aura. Their words or even a look was intimidating. To be able to become a guest of the prince's residence and work for King Yu, any one of them was probably as strong as the leader of Tianmen Province's Flying Feather Army, Yang Zhongju. You're the newcomer. When he came to the second floor, most of them looked at Su Fang. Secret Path Realm. He is indeed in the Secret Path Realm. I didn't expect someone in the Secret Path Realm to come here. A few people shook their heads, but no one ignored Su Fang's existence. The prince's residence wasn't a market. To be able to come here, even if he was in the flesh-body realm, he was probably outstanding. Su Fang came to the window and sat down. Immediately, a maid brought over fruits and wine. After sitting for a while, as dusk came, more guests arrived. Su Fang secretly glanced at him. He was indeed too insignificant here. Even with the strength of the guests, King Yu's residence has already crossed Tianmen Province. No wonder King Yu could issue a transfer order and easily ask for people from Tianmen Province. Brother Qin. At this moment, a familiar face appeared, causing many guests to stand up and bow. Qin Xuanling. When he came to the second floor, he also greeted many people. Everyone invited him to sit at the same table, but he chose to sit with Su Fang in the end. When Lu Xiong arrived, he also chose to sit at this table. Although he wasn't familiar with the two, he was still considered acquaintances. Su Fang took the initiative to say a few polite words, while Qin Xianling and Lu Xiong remained silent. After the sky turned dark, Pound arrived at Juxiong Pavilion under the protection of a group of guards. Everyone stood up to welcome him. Other than Pound, there were 2 other experts. After Lu Xiong introduced them, they were Han Xian and Xue Wujian. Although their status wasn't as high as Pound, they were still important people who often met the prince. Pound, Han Xian, and Xue Wujian sat at the front. There were 6 small tables closest to them, and each table had a person sitting at it. They were obviously the 6 great guardian deities. Su Fang carefully sized up the 6 great guardian deities. Among the 6 there were young, middle-aged, and of course, old men. Their strength was extraordinary, and he couldn't see through them at all. However, if he made a rough comparison, the 6 great guardian deities were at least as strong as Ho Ping. Pound stood up and raised his wine cup. Let's have a casual gathering today. Let's eat and drink well. Thank you, my lord. Everyone also raised their wine cups and drank. Next, there were dancers who went upstairs and performed in the center of the room. Some of the guests were enjoying the singing and dancing, while others were in deep thought and remained silent. There were also people who were good at socializing and would occasionally toast Pound, Han Xian, Xue Wujian, or the 6 great guardian deities. Chapter 78. It was just an ordinary gathering that ended in the wee hours of the morning. Su Fang asked the maidservant and found out that the gathering was held every month, sometimes several times in a row. Pound, Han Xian, and Xue Wujian also sent people to deliver 5 meridian loosening pills. Su Fang did not hesitate and sent someone to tell Pound that he was about to break through to the Dharma opening realm. Before the news came back, a few experts came and took Su Fang away from Cloud Gathering Garden that night. Little brother, I'm sorry, but according to the rules, you need to cover your eyes. Before arriving at the main gate of the inner mansion, the expert took out a black cloth and covered Su Fang's eyes. After that, he could not see anything. Of course, Su Fang's cultivation had improved, and his body had reached the perfect realm. Even if he covered his eyes with a black cloth, he could still see clearly. For example, he could see some vague shadows at this moment, but it was impossible to see clearly. The rules of the Imperial Mansion were far stricter than those of Tianmen Province. If they were so careful with a secret path realm cultivator, wouldn't they be even stricter with a transcendent realm cultivator? He did not know if he had entered the inner mansion or if he was still in the outer mansion. In short, he heard the sound of the gate opening several times. Later, he felt the cold wind, as if he was in an open space. Lord, bring him here. After 2 hours, Su Fang heard the heartbeats of several people. They were not as fast as ordinary people's heartbeats, beating once every few breaths. This meant that there were experts around him. When the black cloth was taken off, he saw Pound at first glance. Beside him stood a young man who was about 27 or 28 years old. He was a jade-faced gentleman with a calm expression. He looked brave and mighty, as if he was number one in the universe. The young man was dressed in black, and so was Pound. There were 2 other black-clothed men next to them. The appearance of these 4 people made Su Fang feel that his life was in their hands. If they wanted to kill him, it would be easy, unless he summoned the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda or Dao Wuliang. Only then would he have a chance to survive. The young man who was not only domineering but also had a rich aura swept his gaze coldly. Lord Peng, this is the talent you found in Tianmen Province. Yes. Pound bowed to the young man and then nodded to Su Fang. Show your ability to the young lord. Young lord. Could he be the son of King Yu? Big shot. After following Pang De's instructions, Su Fang saw that he was in a secret chamber and was not afraid of attracting attention. He secretly told Xian Huang to activate the demon odor. Xian Huang then controlled the demon odor to flow into the meridians of Su Fang's right arm. Ping suddenly, under their cold gazes, a shocking demonic chi burst out. Deng demonic aura aside from Pound and the young man, the surrounding people were so shocked that they took a few steps back before they could stabilize their step. At first glance, it was not a demon beast, but a human. A human with spiritual power and demon aura. Peak of the 10th layer of the secret passage, releasing this special spirit energy that contains demonic chi. His strength is almost at the 6th or 7th layer of the Law Cave realm. Lord Pang, you have indeed found a genius. The young man's eyes suddenly flashed with a touch of surprise, and he signaled Su Fang to withdraw his aura. Foster father needs this kind of talent. Only those who are at a higher level or have special abilities can work for my mansion. Hearing this, Su Fang's face was expressionless, but there was a wave in his heart. Foster father is indeed the son of King Yu. He is just a foster son, but his status is higher than Pound, Han Xian, and Xue Wujian. Pang De said, this boy is about to break through the Law Cave realm. After reaching the Law Cave realm, his strength will naturally be comparable to the 9th layer. Although he does not meet the requirements, with his efforts and good training, he will definitely have the strength of divine sense. Moreover, Su Fang is a new face. In the land of Zhao, no one can know his background. This boy has only cultivated for a few years. The young man was silent for a moment. Okay, this person is a member of Solus. I will continue to secretly search for talents to help young masters strengthen Solus. Solus will become the most powerful assassin organization in Zhao and help King Yu get rid of all the obstacles. Su Fang, from now on, you will join Solus and become one of the assassins. Help foster father get rid of the opponent. When you have made enough contributions, you can become King Yu's man in the future, or be given a title. Then you will be the top person in Zhao. I will work hard. Su Fang cupped his fists and said, in the future you can call me young master. Follow me through the secret passage to the headquarters of Soulless. King Yu's adopted son and Pang De secretly talked for a while. Then, he took Su Fong and Pang De into the secret passage. This time, they did not cover their eyes. After an hour, an expert activated the entrance, and an exit suddenly appeared in front of them. After leaving the secret passage, they found themselves in a luxurious mansion. This was naturally the mansion of an important person. There were all kinds of gems and spirit stones everywhere. Ordinary people would not have this kind of royal aura. This is Lord's Imperial Sky Mansion. Through the royal family's martial arts competition, I competed step by step with experts from all over Zhao. In the end, I stood out and was personally given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General by the current emperor. No one knows that I am related to foster father. The mansion was heavily guarded. Even a mosquito would not be able to fly in. After entering a side hall, King Yu's adopted son gave a simple introduction. Su Fong had never imagined that this young man in front of him would be such an existence. He had been given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General by the current emperor. He was an important person in Zhao, and his future was bright. For him to be given the title of Imperial Sky Demon General at such a young age, just what kind of person would he become in the future? At this time, an old man silently walked over. His hair was white and his back was hunched. Master! This is the newcomer. He's only at the 10th layer of the secret passage, but he has outstanding ability. Teach him the rules and then help him reach the Dharma opening realm. The young man coldly instructed the old man. Then, under the protection of the guards, he left the side hall. I'm the steward of Imperial Sky Mansion. My name is Pulsatilawang. In the future, you can just call me Old Man. The old man first asked about Su Fong's background, then sat down and said, "We don't keep trash in our mansion. Just because you're here doesn't mean you can sit back and relax. I don't want to talk too much about other matters. You're here as a member of the Soulless clan. The Grand Prince personally created the Soulless clan to help him get rid of any obstacles. You have 2 tasks to do. First, kill someone. Second, wait to kill someone. Kill someone. Wait to kill someone. While you wait, you need to work hard on your cultivation. I'll give you any energy arts, divine abilities, or magical techniques you want. I'll even give you magical treasures." From the back, the white-haired old man looked like an old man in his 70s, but from the front, he radiated the aura of a powerful expert. Killing people isn't going to be easy, especially people who are stronger than you. I'll teach you how to do that later. The first thing you need to do after entering the mansion is take this medicinal pill. A blood-stained medicinal pill appeared in Pulsatilawang's hand. A poison pill. Su Fong looked at it and shivered. It was a highly toxic medicinal pill. "Don't worry," Pulsatilawang said. "It's a slow-acting poison with an antidote. However, only the young lord and the Grand Prince have access to antidote. If you dare to betray the Grand Prince, you'll end up bleeding from your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. You won't dare to take it." "No." Su Fong hesitated for a moment. Actually, he was just putting on an act for Pulsatilawang to see. In a situation like this, anyone would hesitate and cower. Crunch! Waving his hand, he swallowed the poison pill and chewed it into his mouth. Then, he secretly activated his 3 parasites, which crawled through his muscles toward his neck, where they began to absorb the power of the poisonous pill. Pulsatilawang and the Grand Prince were incredibly skilled, and had come up with all sorts of methods to control the cultivators under their command. However, none of them could ever have guessed that someone in the secret Dao realm who posed no threat to them would have parasites from the southern frontier. Most of the poisons in this world had no effect on Su Fong. "From now on, you're a member of the mansion. Now, follow me into the secret passage. I'll take you to the Soulless headquarters, which isn't far from the Imperial Sky Mansion." Another secret passage? Sure enough, as Pulsatilawong turned a vase on the screen at the back of the side hall, the wall where the screen was located opened with a creak. They walked for about 2 hours after entering the secret passage. When they left the secret passage, they seemed to have arrived at the storeroom of a restaurant. They could hear the sound of many people drinking outside. There were all kinds of food in the warehouse. Before Pulsatilawong could open the door, a force came from outside. After the door was pushed open, a young woman in her 30s with a plump figure and half-exposed breasts in red appeared gracefully in front of Su Fong and Pulsatilawong. They felt like they had suddenly met a brothel keeper. However, the young woman's appearance instantly disappeared. She nodded to Pulsatilawong expressionlessly. "Lord," Pulsatilawong said, "Emon Yang, this is the new Su Fong. I'll leave him to you." "Lord, don't worry." Emon Yang nodded. Pulsatilawong turned around and opened the entrance of the secret passage. In an instant, he disappeared. "This is the Heavenly Fragrance Market. I'm the proprietress here. Don't just stand there," Emon Yang shouted domineeringly. She brought Su Fong out of the warehouse and pointed to the bowls and chopsticks in front of them. "You're new here. Clean this place up first. If you can't do it well, you won't be able to eat tonight." Su Fong quickly rolled up his sleeves and started working. The Heavenly Fragrance Market's solace should be the force that Shen Huangqi wants me to join. It was established by King Yu. It's like a sharp weapon in King Yu's hands. It can kill people without leaving a trace. King Yu is so experienced. It's too difficult for me to find the enemy who killed my father and find my ancestral magic treasure. However, when I become King Yu's subordinate, there will naturally be opportunities. Since the restaurant was a cover to hide the soulless headquarters, Su Fong worked honestly. After a day, he became a servant who did odd jobs. He worked until midnight. After the Heavenly Fragrance Market closed for the day, more than 20 servants gathered in the backyard. As for the cooks and the chefs, they all left the Heavenly Fragrance Market. Those people were not soulless people. They were probably controlled by soulless and had no choice but to work for the Heavenly Fragrance Market. Emon Yang still looked travel-worn, but she did not lose the craftiness of a businesswoman. "This is a newcomer. Let's eat." This Emon Yang is definitely a terrifying expert. I wonder where King Yu found such a capable person. More than 20 people sat down to eat. No one chatted idly. After eating, a few people stayed behind to guard the house. The rest went to rest. Su Fong followed Emon Yang back to the warehouse and entered the secret passage. After a while, they arrived at an underground palace. It was not small. This was the soulless headquarters. They could smell the scent of blood. There were many torture tools in the side rooms. Many walls were stained with blood. Emon Yang called out, and 3 masked assassins appeared in the main hall. After meeting Emon Yang, they disappeared into the secret passage. It seemed that there were always experts hiding in the dark in this underground passage. Although Soulless was an assassin organization, the division of labor was strict. It was impossible for outsiders to infiltrate Soulless. Each of them was probably an elite who had been arranged by King Yu's residence. Chapter 79. Only Emon Yang and Su Fong were left in the underground chamber. At this moment, Emon Yang's half-breasts were exposed. No one could tell that she was a lady boss. Her eyes flashed like lightning. After a while, a masked man appeared and handed her a jade slip. After crushing the jade slip, Emon Yang said slowly, "The old man wants me to help you reach the Dharma Insight Realm first, then teach you how to kill people." It seemed the old man was the one who sent the jade slip. Reaching the Dharma Insight Realm isn't too difficult. You just have to break through the heavenly tribulation. The most important thing is your control of your divine aperture. Once you reach the Dharma Insight Realm, you'll be able to sense the existence of your divine aperture and control your magic power. Then it won't be difficult for you to control magic treasures. Yang was very shrewd. I can see that your aura is extraordinary. You must have reached the peak of the 10th layer of the secret path realm. I'll give you half a month to find a place where no one is around to reach the Dharma Insight realm. Of course, I'll also send people to protect you. There are so many people in Zhao. If someone finds out that you're going through the heavenly tribulation, they'll take the opportunity to kill you and steal your treasures. Thank you, my lady. Su Fang immediately saluted. Once you enter Solace, you'll need a code name. From now on, you'll be called Lady Boss. Your code name will be Lu Xing, and you'll officially become a member of Solace. I hope you'll be like Lu Xing in the future and become the best assassin in Solace. You'll be able to work for the young master or the Grand Prince as soon as possible. Yang flicked her finger, and a silver mask with 2 eyes slowly flew towards Su Fang. When you're on a mission, everyone has to wear a mask to prevent others from seeing your face. Su Fang grabbed the mask, looked at it, and put it into his bag. Lu Xing remembers. Yang continued, other than a mask and a code name, you also need magic treasures. What kind of magic treasures are you good at? I already have a flying sword. If I want to kill someone, I'm still lacking a magic treasure that's fast, unexpected, and good at hiding. Su Fang didn't hold back. It seems like you were born to be an assassin. Killing people requires very ordinary magical treasures. Of course, you can also use flying swords, but only ordinary flying swords. The magical treasures that the Solace members use are collected by the Grand Prince from all over the world. I have a dozen magical treasures here. Pick one. She waved her hand and the bag at her waist flashed. Instantly, many magical treasures Xian Guang floated in midair. Su Fang hurriedly looked over. There were flying swords, treasured sabers, and long spears. Moreover, the auras of the various transcendent artifacts were very vague and not strong at all. They were not like ordinary transcendent artifacts, which had an overbearing aura as soon as they appeared. Seeing that Su Fang didn't have an idea, he said, I forgot to tell you that these magic weapons all have mechanisms. Most of them contain hidden weapons. You just need to pick the right weapon. He immediately grabbed one of the transcendent artifacts. It's this small knife that looks like a snake. A small silver knife less than a foot long floated in front of Su Fang as he grabbed it. 2 lifelike silver snakes were embedded on both sides of the silver knife. There were 3 tadpole-like characters on the handle. The spirit snake knife. The spirit snake knife is not bad. Look carefully. Yang put away the other magic weapons and pointed at the spirit snake knife. The silver snake embedded in the center of the knife could actually be separated from the knife. Just like that, 2 magic weapons appeared. As expected, it was an extraordinary magic weapon. Could this be a magic weapon? When the magic weapon was activated, some spirit chi intertwined with spirit chi appeared. It also had a weak aura of magic power. That's right, this is a low-grade magic weapon. It's something that most Dharma whole realm cultivators would find hard to obtain. Only transcendent realm experts can activate magic weapons. Solace conditions are very good. Our pills are all extraordinary, and so are our magic weapons. These are resources. Lu Xing, work hard on your cultivation. Although the Solace is an assassin organization, we are also a family. It is fate that we all came together to work for the Grand Prince. I hope you can activate the spirit snake knife soon. Yang stood up. This subordinate will definitely work hard. Hearing Yang's last few words, he suddenly felt the helplessness of being an assassin. Everyone was risking their lives to obtain status and power. This was why it was easy for fellow assassins to feel sympathy for each other. Since they were an organization, they couldn't rely on one person. Only by working together would they be able to survive in the end. Several days later, in the Heavenly Fragrance Market, Zhui Ming, go with Lu Xing. He wants to find a secluded place to break through to the Dharma whole realm. You have to ensure his safety. In a restaurant, Two gray-robed servants were being reprimanded by Mo Nyang. In truth, Mo Nyang wanted a middle-aged man to protect Su Fang. The man was Zhui Ming. Although he looked like a worker in the heavenly fragrance market, he was actually a powerful existence. The two of them drove a carriage and left the heavenly fragrance market with the excuse of going out to gather goods. The heavenly fragrance market was located at the edge of the Zhao Imperial City and was 5 miles away from 8 Treasures City. After leaving the Imperial City, Su Fang followed Zhui Ming. They passed through a few small cities and gradually entered a mountain range. After hiding the carriage, the two of them directly rushed into the depths of the mountain range. Half a day later, they were almost 100 miles away from the Zhao Imperial City. In a large forest, Zhui Ming said, "This forest is not bad. Although people often pass by, it doesn't get in the way." Su Fang thanked him. "Thank you, Brother Zhui Ming. Since we're all working for Soulless, your strength will undoubtedly increase as a whole. Don't worry about cultivating. I'll set up an ambush around 5 miles away." After saying that, Zhui Ming disappeared into the forest like a flash of light. After arriving at an open space, he prepared pills and fire snake fruits for his tribulation. He sat down cross-legged and circulated the 100 acupoints finger art to stimulate his physical strength. He combined it with the 9 yang true qi to stimulate his body. Immediately, Su Fang communicated with Xian Huang. "When I'm going through my tribulation, use your demonic qi to cover me. Zhui Ming might be secretly sizing me up. Don't let him see my true strength." "Master, don't worry. With Xian Huang here, that transcendent realm expert won't be able to see anything." Xian Huang was very confident. Su Fang sent his consciousness into the pagoda. "Dao Wuliang, when I reach the Dharma Cave realm, you have to teach me how to set up formations." Dao Wuliang was absent-minded. It seemed that being locked up in the pagoda was too depressing. You're so capable now. Do you still need my help? There's a question I've always forgotten to ask you. What's your cultivation?" The realms of the demon race aren't as detailed as the humans. However, there are a few major realms that are the same. For example, the Golden Core realm. I'm now at the stage of condensing the Golden Core. What realm is that? Transcending the Dharma Cave realm, Transcendent realm, and several other realms. It's almost close to the Heavenly Union realm. I don't know about the Heavenly Union realm, but I know that the Golden Core realm is something that all cultivators pursue. What's the cultivation of the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor? The Heaven Sex Sage Emperor's cultivation is below the Heavenly Union realm. It seems that he's about to break through to the Golden Core realm. However, the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor can't see through him. I'm stronger than him, but I can't see through his cultivation. This person can be the overlord of Zhao country. He must have something extraordinary. He's not a simple human. After Dao Wuliang finished speaking, Su Fang had a rough idea of the Heaven Sex Sage Emperor's strength. Dao Wuliang snorted again. "You have to be careful. There are many transcendent realm experts in Zhao country, and many of them have passed the transcendent realm. Some of the cultivators you've met recently were transcendent realm experts. Those experts have already condensed their core and are preparing to break through to the Golden Core realm step by step. Once they become Golden Core experts, they'll become big shot. It's 1,000,000 times harder for us demons to condense our Golden Core than you humans. If you wait for me to condense my Golden Core, even 10 human Golden Core cultivators won't be my match. Even 100 would be enough." Su Fang was dumbfounded. He didn't doubt Dao Wuliang's words. He had personally witnessed Dao Wuliang's strength. No wonder the demon race was the greatest enemy of the humans. Another few days passed. Su Fang, who was sitting cross-legged and releasing a shocking aura, used the 100 acupoints finger technique. He pointed a few finger techniques at his abdomen. Suddenly, a shocking amount of yang qi gushed out of his body. Fortunately, there was a layer of demon qi covering the yang qi. Otherwise, the yang qi would have spread throughout the forest. Whoosh whoosh. Hearing the abnormal movement, he raised his head. He didn't know when, but there were dark clouds in the sky. They were about 100 meters long, like a long river of dark clouds. At this moment the 100 acupoints finger technique released the energy in his body, his sea of qi dispersed first. The yang qi began to rush out of his body and into his brain. Breakthrough. Su Fang was trying to break through to the Dharma cave realm from the realm of secret. All kinds of impurities gushed out of his body. He didn't care about these, nor did he care about the pain caused by the impact. He focused on breaking through to his brain. In the depths of his brain, after a series of impacts, Su Fang finally sensed the mysterious empty world again. Divine aperture. This was one of the two major energy worlds of cultivators, the divine aperture. It was used to cultivate mana, while the dantian of the human body was used to cultivate spiritual energy. The combination of spiritual energy and mana, as well as the combination of dharma seals and natural energy, could produce unfathomable supernatural powers. Su Fang combined the power of his breakthrough and attacked the divine aperture. With each impact, the divine aperture got closer and closer, as if it was within reach. After several impacts, he could clearly sense the existence of the black hole space. Only then did he smile because he had successfully grasped the existence of the divine aperture. After further sensing, he found that the impact of each impact had formed a fog-like mana in the dark space of the divine aperture. Of course, the divine aperture's space wasn't necessarily black. It was just that Su Fang could only sense it, and in his senses, everything was dark. At the same time, he felt more and more mana in the divine aperture, forming a whirlpool like the Milky Way. At this moment, Su Fang felt like he was in the middle of the Milky Way. Mana. This was the thought brought about by mana. It was a thought that could allow humans, or even mortals, to have the power of heaven and earth and coexist with heaven and earth. Soon, the impact of the breakthrough weakened. At the same time, the dark clouds rolled over, and a bolt of tribulation lightning appeared. It seemed to sense that Su Fang was breaking through to the Dharma cave realm and was devouring the power of the dark clouds. I didn't think that the heavenly tribulation brought about by Lu Xing's breakthrough to the Dharma cave realm would be so powerful. In a forest not far away, Zhui Ming was standing on top of a spider web. He really didn't know what kind of divine ability the spider web was to be able to withstand his weight. He was also sensing any movement around him. With his divine ability realm cultivation, it was easy for him to sense movement. If he wanted to kill someone, it would only take him a breath. Huff, the bolt of tribulation lightning in the dark clouds suddenly pounced into the forest. Buzz, when the tribulation lightning struck his body, he felt his brain and body heat up. He immediately circulated all his yang energy to resist the tribulation lightning. The tribulation lightning was both a cleansing and a destructive force. If the person undergoing the tribulation didn't have enough spiritual energy, they wouldn't be able to resist the tribulation lightning. Then the person undergoing the tribulation would die miserably. Looks like it's over. Zhui Ming flashed into the sky not far away. When he saw that the tribulation lightning was weakening, he felt relieved and fled into the depths of the forest. The dark clouds began to disappear. Su Fang felt hot and swollen in the depths of his brain. In his divine aperture, the world of magical energy that was like a galaxy whirlpool suddenly quieted down. There was no temperature. Not only could he sense the magical energy and the divine aperture space, but he could also control his thoughts to draw magical energy into his body. Chapter 80. In the empty world of the divine aperture, Jiang Yi felt that his magic power was very abstract. It floated in the clouds, and even when he absorbed some of it from his brain, it still felt ethereal. The moment the heaven's tribulation ended, Jiang Yi took out 1,000-year-old fire serpent fruit and ate it. When he looked at his empty bag, he saw that the first fire serpent fruit had been consumed. Only the second one was left. The fire serpent fruit was still extraordinary, but its medicinal power was not comparable to that of the secret path realm. The secret path realm could break through because of the medicinal power of the fire serpent fruit, but the Dharma Hole realm could not break through to the 5th level of the Dharma Hole realm. Jiang Yi swallowed another channel relaxation pill. He now had enough channel relaxation pills. Suddenly, a figure flashed over. It was Zhui Ming. Zhui Ming cupped his fist. Congratulations on entering the Dharma Hole realm. There are still 10 years left. I will still hide in the surroundings. Make use of the time to cultivate your spells and fuse your magic treasures. He came and went like the wind. After he finished speaking, he disappeared again. Let's try to use my magic power to control the crystal soul sword. There were many treasures in his body, but he could not use the 7 stars life-chasing sword. There were still many flying swords that he had not fused. He chose the crystal soul sword first. Buzz. Jiang Yi slapped his bag and the crystal soul sword immediately flew out. He immediately used his mind to extract traces of magic power from his brain and infuse them into the sword along with his spirit power. There were formations and seals in the flying sword that he could not control in the past. Now, under the urging of his magic power and spirit power, Su Fang could easily use his magic power to form seals. Then, the flying sword burst out with waves of sword qi. The formations inside started to activate, causing Su Fang to jump up. Jiang Yi stepped on the flying sword and felt that he was weightless. Under the fusion of his magic power and spirit power, he became one with the flying sword. Whoosh whoosh. When he pointed his finger forward, the flying sword qi was extremely sharp. Under the control of Su Fang's mind, the formations inside the flying sword started to explode with energy. The formations inside exploded, and the flying sword flew forward. The flying sword carried Su Fang and flew about 3 meters above the ground. Controlling the Madra in the flying sword carried Su Fang to and fro around the big trees accurately. Could also fly out of the forest and into the higher clouds, but he still landed on the ground first. I used some magic power. The moment he landed, he felt that his head was heavy and his feet were light. Naturally, it was because his magic power was not strong enough to support the flying sword's internal formation for a long time. There were 2 ways to activate a Dharma treasure like the flying sword. One was to not use dharmic powers, but to fuse with blood to shoot the flying sword. This method mainly used the flying sword's sharpness to kill the enemy. The other is mana. Under the release of the flying sword's own power and the activation of the internal array, the flying sword could release terrifying sword qi, sword rays, and various other abilities, such as flying in the air. Some flying swords could even explode with lightning and flames. Without the use of magic power to activate the internal array, one would not be able to control the true power of the magic treasure. For example, he could not conjure it when he was at the primordial chaos sacred realm. Even if he entered the divine power realm, he probably could not conjure it. It required even more vast and exquisite dharmic powers. Last time, Shun Huangqi rewarded me with 10 magic treasures. Now I have more than 30 flying swords. With my little amount of magic power, it would be exhausting to use 10 flying swords at the same time. Fortunately, it is not easy to use 10 flying swords at the first tier of the Law Insight realm. Spirit Snake Blade. He put away the flying swords and immediately took out the low-grade magic treasure, Spirit Snake Blade. My goodness, this is a magic treasure. A prince is a prince after all. He does not have much, but he is rich and powerful. Even the assassins under his command use magic treasures. This also showed that King Yu wanted to cultivate Soulless into a deadly force in his hands. For Su Fang, There was finally a shortcut to finding the enemy who killed his father and proving his father's innocence. Buzz buzz, he dripped a drop of blood on the spirit snake blade. After the spirit snake blade absorbed the blood, it exploded with silver light. When his consciousness entered, he saw a large number of seals and arrays intertwined. They were all seals to activate the spirit snake blade. The space inside was full of spiritual power. Form. He released his dermic powers into the spirit snake blade and combined them with the seals inside. The spirit snake blade, which was less than a foot long, suddenly became a huge blade that was 10 feet long. He activated more dermic powers and formed seals again. The spirit snake blade surged with saber rays. These saber rays were enough to crush Su Fong. Of course, what is a magic treasure? Su Fong noticed one of its exquisite abilities. Back then, Dao Wuliang had obtained knowledge about Dharma treasures, including the differences between Dharma treasures. When Su Fong found a special Dharma seal inside the spirit snake saber, he slowly raised his right arm and struck out a Dharma seal. Whoosh! The 10 feet long spirit snake blade immediately shrunk to the size of a hand. Yes, it was much smaller than its original size. Then, with a buzz, it actually shot into Su Fong's right arm. Gone. Magic treasure. This is the most obvious difference between magic treasures and magic treasures. Magic treasures cannot be absorbed into the body no matter what, but magic treasures are different. When magic treasures are refined, magic powers are injected into them. Once the magic seals inside are activated, the spirit snake blade can be shrunk to an inconspicuous size and absorbed into a certain meridian in the body. Now, Su Fong hid the spirit snake blade in the muscle layer of his right arm. He did not absorb it into the magic treasure spirit meridian. Magic treasures are not in an empty bag, but under the skin and flesh. Automatic activation is even more unpredictable to the enemy, and there is no time to react. Magic treasures can be activated from different parts of the body, silently killing at any time. When the Xian Huang Six Paths Pagoda drilled into his right arm, magic treasures and magic treasures were almost the same. Su Fong secretly said, "Xian Huang, with my current magic power, can I activate you?" Xian Huang quickly denied, "Absolutely not, my original body needs a terrifying magic power to activate. With Master's level, it is already a miracle that you can activate a part of the low-grade magic treasure's power." "Yes, I am too impatient. Haste makes waste. In the future, if I encounter a strong enemy that I can't deal with, I will rely on you to deal with it." Master, among low-grade magic treasures, there are also differences in strength. The materials injected by the refiner, the temperature of the refiner, and the magic powers used are different, causing the same magic treasure to have a world of difference. This spirit snake blade is considered average among low-grade magic treasures. It is a little better than trash magic treasures. Is that so? Su Fong was stunned. So, there are such secrets in magic treasures that are rarely known. He increased his consciousness by a lot and easily infused it into the Six Paths Pagoda. He also sensed Dao Wuliang. During this period of time, have you thought about whether you will be loyal to me or continue to play tricks with me? Dao Wuliang really couldn't take it anymore. "I am really afraid of you, but I am an existence that has condensed an aurous core. Even in the Zhao country, I am a top expert. Why would I become a follower of a Dharma insight cultivator? The Fox clan is the king of the demon race. How can I swallow this insult? Actually, you don't have to be my mount. I need to face difficulties and find a way to defeat strong enemies. You are a peerless big goblin, I naturally need to borrow your strength. As long as you help me achieve my wish of avenging my father and finding my family's magic treasure, I will return your freedom. I don't have a choice, but you still need to be ruthless and think of ways to achieve your goals. With me and the Xian Huang Six Paths Pagoda, we can deal with Aurous Core stage expert. I also have powerful magic treasures. Even Aurus Core stage experts won't be able to do anything to me. With your words I am relieved. I am a man of my words. When I have cleared my father's name and found my family's magic treasure, I will return your freedom. After fusing with the spirit snake saber for a long time, his cultivation has also returned to normal. He slowly released the power of his perfect physical body. Immediately, he could hear all the movements in the forest and distinguish where the sound came from. He also heard Zhui Ming's slow breathing. His vision was also very good. He could see a spider web 1,000 meters away clearly. He then summoned a flying sword and quickly fused a large number of seals with it. Using a trace of his arcane energy, the flying sword immediately flew towards the forest where Zhui Ming was. Lu Xing, congratulations. In a moment, as a transcendent stage expert, Zhui Ming also jumped out. He didn't need to control a flying sword to be able to fly for a short period of time. After exchanging some pleasantries, the two of them left the forest on their flying swords. This was the first time Su Fong relied on himself to control a flying sword. He could fly high in the sky and also dive into the ground. Finally, he could also step on a flying sword and control it to kill people. The world seemed to have become very small at this moment. It only took a few days to return to Heaven Sect City from here. The two of them then drove the carriage back to the Imperial City. Heavenly Fragrance Market in the secret underground tunnel. Pulsatilawang came to the underground palace. After a while, Emon Yang also came. Once they met, Pulsatilawang took out a jade scroll with a murderous look. Young master has just given a mission. 2 experts who used to work in the Wang residence want to join King Lang Jun and present the Wang residence's secret to King Lang Jun as a gift. This is where the 2 of them are staying. Quickly send people to get rid of the 2 of them. The Wang residence will not allow any traitors to leave alive. We will do it tonight. This is the information about the 2 of them. This subordinate will arrange it immediately. Emon Yang quickly left the secret tunnel. In the storeroom of Heavenly Fragrance Market, Su Fong and 4 workers just entered and saw Mon Yang with a serious look. She then sent 2 of them away, leaving only Su Fong and the 2 young assassins. There is a restaurant near the Imperial Palace. These 2 must be eliminated tonight. Emon Yang formed a seal and condensed 2 faces with her spiritual qi. These 2 are of the 4th and 5th level of the Transcendent Power Realm. Since this is a restaurant and there are many people around, it is best to use the Phantom God powder to knock them out first and make it look like a robbery. Lu Xing, your cultivation is ordinary. Transcendent realm experts will not pay attention to you. You will be in charge of gathering information and wait for an opportunity to strike. Yes. The 3 of them memorized the faces of their targets and changed into ordinary clothes before leaving from the back door. 2 hours later, it was gradually dusk. The streets were crowded with people, and there were also patrolling soldiers. The 3 of them came to the restaurant. After checking and communicating secretly, Su Fong entered the restaurant as a guest. The first floor of the restaurant was mainly for diners, while the 2nd to 3rd floors were for guest rooms. Su Fong looked around and immediately saw 2 middle-aged men at a square table in the corner. They were the targets of the assassination. The 2 of them drank happily and did not notice Su Fong sitting beside them and ordering a few dishes. After waiting for a while, the 2 of them paid the bill and went to the 2nd floor. Su Fong secretly kept an eye on them. After confirming that the 2 of them had entered the room, he left the restaurant and met up with the other 2 assassins. He told the 2 of them the location of the target's room, and they asked Su Fong to wait outside while they were in charge of the assassination. Assassinating a transcendent realm expert was not easy, even if it was poison. Su Fong hid, and after making sure that no one was paying attention, he went to the street and found a shop. He paid someone to go there for him. Naturally, it was to deliver a letter to Shen Huangqi. As for the destination, he had already memorized it. It was an ordinary manor, and Shen Huangqi's subordinates were hiding in the manor. The shop was also happy to do such a profitable business. After receiving the spirit stones, he immediately sent someone to go there alone. He then returned to the back of the restaurant and waited for another hour before the two assassins successfully returned. After knocking the targets out with poison, we chopped them to death and took all their valuables. This mission is complete. After the three of them met up, they soon heard movement from the restaurant and disappeared with the crowd. Chapter 81. On the other side of the imperial city, Lang Wang residence, King Lang Wang was like King Yu, and he controlled a few cities in the vicinity, becoming a well-deserved overlord. My lord, the secret altar suddenly received this news today. Under the night sky, Shen Huangqi was dressed in a golden brocade robe, activating a jade scroll as an elder stood in front of him. After reading the jade scroll, Shen Huangqi was pleasantly surprised. I did not expect Su Fang to infiltrate Soulless as soon as she entered King Yu's residence. She even found out about Soulless headquarters, secret passageways, people, and a part of the network. The old man hastily said, "My lord, Soulless is a malignant tumor. He has killed many of my king's manners experts. His Highness has always wanted to eliminate Soulless. Since Soulless has our people, why don't we take this opportunity to eliminate Soulless and uproot him? This matter needs to be discussed with King Yu." Shen Huangqi took the jade scroll and entered the corridor with the elder. They entered the Forbidden Palace guarded by the Forbidden Army and came to a hall filled with books. A young voice slowly came from the hall. "Huangqi, it's so late, what are you doing?" "King Yu, one of our hidden pawns has finally entered Soulless. I just received all the information about Soulless. I am here to ask King Yu if we can make a move on Soulless. This matter is well done, but don't be in a hurry to eliminate Soulless. King Yu has deliberately cultivated a group of assassins, not just to go against this king. This person might have a bigger scheme. Let's wait and see. Tell your men to stay hidden, do not act rashly." "I understand. There is something you need to prepare. The 8th prince is taking in a concubine. The news came very suddenly. There will be a big banquet in the palace, inviting all the powerful and influential people to attend." "I will do it right away." Shen Huangqi bowed and left the hall. Heavenly Fragrant City, when he returned, he handed over the mission to Emon Yang. This kind of mission was a piece of cake for Soulless. Emon Yang also received news from another side, confirming that the target had been eliminated. It seemed like Soulless was always in control of the information. After this mission, Emon Yang personally taught Su Fang how to make poison, use poison, and assassinate. Emon Yang demonstrated how to get close to the target and how to make a move. Sometimes it was not necessary to use magic weapons to kill people, and there was no need to fight. Using poison was a very common method used by Soulless. Su Fang would enter the secret passageway almost every night to follow Emon Yang or study desperately. He never slacked off for a single day. "The 6 of you immediately carry out the mission. This old man will tell you what the mission is." Early in the morning, Emon Yang summoned many of the busy killers. Among them were Zhui Ming and Su Fang. 6 of them wore masks and sneaked into the secret passage in the warehouse. After walking through the secret passage for an hour, they encountered the Pulsatilla. Pulsatilla Wang let the 6 people rest in the secret passage for a while, and then he sent someone to get 6 sets of military armor. After everyone put on the armor, they found that the helmet was very strange. It almost completely covered the head. Except for the chin and eyes, the face could not be seen. "This time, you will carry out an extremely important mission. This mission will be very difficult." After the 6 people put on the armor, they immediately became soldiers. Pulsatilla also began to give them the mission. The current 8th prince is holding a banquet to take in a new concubine. He has also invited the 3 princes, as well as the most powerful people in the imperial palace. From the beginning to the end of this banquet, there will be dangers everywhere. Who knows if someone will try to assassinate the princes? Your mission is to hide your identities as assassins. As the prince's imperial guards, you will protect them at all times. Remember, from now on, your lives are not your own, but the prince's. If someone tries to assassinate the princes, you will use your bodies to protect the princes. The princes are not allowed to be harmed in the slightest. Otherwise, the 6 of you and your families will all be punished. Yu Wang's inner guards. Suddenly, while Su Fang was tidying up the armor, he saw 4 familiar words embroidered in golden thread on the inner silk layer of the armor. Imperial Guard of Yu. So King Yu's inner guards are the closest people to King Yu. Even his guests are not inner guards. Su Fang did not expect to become one of King Yu's inner guards. It was this inner guard who silenced him, causing his father to lose his life. The Pulsatilawang shouted, "If anyone wants to harm the king of Yu, you must immediately rush to protect him. Remember this is the reason you're alive. You don't need to have a high cultivation base, just your courage." Yes. The 6 of them bowed. Pulsatilawang led the 6 people into another secret passage. About 2 hours later, they exited the secret passage. It turned out that they were already in 8 Treasure City, Yuwang Manor. Furthermore, it wasn't the outer residence or the inner residence, but the Forbidden Palace. Lord Pang. Come to 1? Still being punished? Trouble? Confiscation order? What? Screen milk? Abusing Defeaten? Poke? Jiangbaizheng? Embracing Lu and Shovel? What? Delicious delicacies in the mouth. The 6 of them stood guard at the side. After a while, Pound and Han Xian left with the 6 of them. Still being punished? Ambition? Slug? Cockroach? Squeak. Su Fang's appearance in the Forbidden Palace was no small matter. Within the span of 10 breaths, patrol squads appeared from different directions. Other than these squads, there were also experts hiding on the roofs and in the bushes, waiting for orders at all times. They arrived at the palace. This should be a very important place in King Yu's manor. After being notified, Pound led the 6 people into the palace. An ordinary middle-aged man with a medium build and a golden belt was sitting at the front of the hall. Beside him were 2 experts who did not have any aura. Seeing the middle-aged man, Su Fang sized him up. This person was born with the aura of an emperor. Every strand of his hair contained a slight amount of spiritual qi. King Yu. Without a doubt, this person was an important person in the current Zhao country. Your Highness. Pound first signaled for the 6 people to stop and wait. He took a few steps forward. These are the assassins selected by Solus to protect Your Highness during the prince's banquet. Their overall strength is not amazing, but they will protect Your Highness with their lives in times of crisis. The high and mighty King Yu said, "It's good that they are not strong. This way, the evil people who want to kill this king will be exposed. Pound Solus, you still have to train them in secret. Last time, didn't you represent this king to go to Tianmen province? Did you see the Feather Emperor?" Feather Emperor. Among the 6 people, Su Fang, whose appearance could not be seen clearly, suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He actually heard about the Feather Emperor and Tianmen province again. Why would a king of a generation care so much about a big lord that was far away from Zhao country? In this hall, everyone was King Yu's confidant. Naturally, there was nothing to hide. Su Fang's group of 6 were soulless assassins, which was equivalent to death soldiers. Death soldiers were people who could die at any time and could not speak again. However, Pound still saw the change in King Yu's eyes. He waved to the 6 people. "Wait outside the hall first." Outside the hall, Su Fang hurriedly activated the power of his perfect physical body. This was an ability that even a transcendent realm cultivator could not have. A transcendent realm cultivator's magic power and strength surpassed the Dharma Insight realm. Su Fang was an ancient body refiner. After going against the heavens and changing his fate, he had a special physical body ability. This was an ability that even a transcendent realm cultivator could not have. Therefore, he could hear any sound in the hall that was close to 100 meters away. Pound's voice immediately sounded. Before I went to Tianmen province, I followed the experts sent by King Yu and went to Great Jade Mountain first. A few days before the Tianmen province banquet began, someone from Heavenly Jade Mountain came. Moreover, it was the new lord of Great Jade Mountain, the Feather Emperor. King Yu said, this king had secretly contacted the previous Feather Emperor. However, this new Feather Emperor is not simple. He was able to kill the powerful Feather Emperor. When you saw him, you could see his strength. Unfathomable. Perhaps he has already formed a gold core. Is that so? If he is a gold core expert, then that's great. What does he look like? King Yu, this person is wearing a mask. His voice is also hoarse and low. He is deliberately hiding his identity. I could not see his appearance. However, the Feather Emperor has also accepted King Yu's reward. At the same time, he is willing to gather all the forces to become enemies with the Zhao country. He also wants to help King Yu overthrow the Zhao country and unify the dynasty. The Feather Emperor is not trustworthy. However, he publicly rejected the reward that the Zhao country sent and refused to pay tribute to the Zhao country. This is undoubtedly a declaration of war against the Zhao country. When we were in Tianmen province, the various envoys said that they wanted to deal with the Feather Emperor. However, after this person's public refusal to pay tribute was exposed, I heard that many great lords took the initiative to contact the Feather Emperor. I heard that there were also the forces of a few feudal lords. Someone dares to stand up against the Zhao country. Those great lords have been oppressed by the Zhao country for many years. No one wants to pay tribute to the Zhao country every year. Now that the Feather Emperor has stood up, the other great lords will cooperate with him to deal with the Zhao country. This king wants this effect. He wants to use the Feather Emperor, the great lords, and the other feudal lords to help him destroy the Zhao country and the other powers. If the Feather Emperor really cooperates with the other great lords to attack the Zhao country, once the Zhao country is destroyed, King Yu will not be able to suppress these people and regain control of the Zhao country. The current emperor is truly a piece of trash. With him around, even if I don't take over the Zhao country, King Ming, King Lang, and the other feudal lords will pull him down from the throne. During this banquet in the palace, the 8th prince might want to rope in the various powers. This person is also eyeing the emperor's throne. Go and make your preparations. Yes, I will take my leave. The voices stopped abruptly here. The 6 of them stood straight outside the hall. After Pound appeared, he gave them a few more instructions before leaving the 6 of them outside the hall. At this time, the others were acting normal, but Su Fang's heart was in turmoil. He never would have thought that the seemingly calm Zhao country was actually filled with murderous intent. Each of the kings, feudal lords, and even the great lords had their eyes on the Zhao country. Even the princes wanted a piece of this juicy meat. At this time, he really wanted to kill his way into the hall and kill King Yu to avenge his father. King Yu's inner guards were trained by him, so killing them was naturally his idea. Palace building outside of the Zhao country's imperial city, there was only one building that was controlled by the imperial clan. It was only 10,000 meters away from the imperial palace. King Yu, please sit. The top floor of the 5-story building was a large hall. King Yu, Pound, and an old man brought 6 death warriors here. Someone arranged for King Yu to sit on a large golden chair near the main stage. King Lang, King Ming Dao. After a while, the other 2 kings also arrived. This was Su Fang's first time seeing King Lang and King Ming. King Lang was only in his 30s while King Ming was in his 50s. Among the 3 kings, King Lang was the youngest. Brother Wang. The two kings sat down while the three kings greeted each other. At this time, even more powerful people arrived. Su Fang also saw Demon General Yu Tian, who was King Yu's adopted son. This person didn't seem to be familiar with King Yu, so how would others know that he was King Yu's adopted son? Welcome to the 8th prince and his new concubine. Everyone stood up, except for the 3 grand princes. Surrounded by female servants, a young prince and a devastatingly beautiful woman gradually appeared in everyone's line of sight. Lu Lan. Su Fang also wanted to see what kind of existence the 8th prince was, but when he saw the new concubine, his eyes flashed with disbelief. Chapter 82. Beside the 8th prince, who had a noble temperament and was a dragon among men, Lu Lan actually appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Lu Lan, who was wearing a phoenix robe, was cold, elegant, and noble. Everyone was like the moon surrounded by the stars. Their eyes were all on Lu Lan and ignored the 8th prince. It's a small world. Su Fang never would have imagined that he would meet Lu Lan, an old friend from Tianzong City, at the banquet held by the influential figures of the Zhao nation at the Zhao nation's imperial palace. How could he believe that in just a few short months, Lu Lan had become the imperial concubine of the 8th prince in the blink of an eye? She had become a true important figure in the Zhao country. She was still competing in the Heavenly Gate prefecture, and was still a genius of different dojos. The 8th prince wasn't even 30 years old. He appeared wise, mighty, and humble in front of everyone as he returned the greetings to the guests. The 8th prince and Lu Lan were a match made in heaven. A hero and a beauty. Only a dragon among men could have a beauty like Lu Lan, who was so beautiful. I always heard that there was a lord behind Lu Lan, and even the Heaven Gate's Saint Emperor had to give some face. Who knew that the person behind her was the 8th prince? No wonder she wanted to get rid of me in Tianmen province. Once she killed me, who would be able to pursue her responsibility? It was only at this moment that Su Fang understood. This woman, Lu Lan, wasn't simple. He didn't know how she was favored by the 8th prince. Now that she had ascended to the heavens, the Lu clan had naturally ascended to the heavens as well. Let alone the small Tianzong city, any territory in the Zhao nation could belong to the Lu clan, allowing the Lu clan to establish an ordinary empire. The Lu clan had now become the imperial clan. The great Zhao imperial clan. Greetings to the prince. Apart from the 3 grand dukes, all the influential figures present bowed to the 8th prince. The 8th prince waved his hand and asked Lu Lan to sit at the side. He spoke with the aura of an emperor. Thank you for attending the banquet hosted by this emperor. This time, I will let everyone meet the imperial concubine first. After a period of time, the imperial banquet will be held in the imperial palace. At that time, the bestowment ceremony will be carried out. Everyone bowed to Lu Lan. Greetings to the imperial concubine. Lu Lan nodded and smiled like a little woman, allowing the 8th prince to make the decision. Ordinary people might not know what kind of person Lu Lan was, but Su Fang knew. This woman would kill if she wanted to. Under that seemingly gentle smile, there was an ice-cold heart hidden. The banquet was immediately held, and the atmosphere was like a big family gathering. However, everyone was respectful to the 8th prince and the 3 grand princes. It was as if they all understood in their hearts that one day in the future, among these people, there was bound to be someone who would control the heavens. Su Fang would pay attention to Lu Lan from time to time and found out that King Yu's adopted son, demon-vanquishing General Yu Tian, was called Zhao Ziba, and he was also a popular person now. At a young age, he had passed through layers of examinations and was conferred the title of demon-vanquishing general by the current emperor. He had already received his fief and countless riches. He then secretly observed Lang Junwang but did not see Shen Huangqi. Lang Junwang was in his early 30s. After some private discussions, Su Fang found out that Lang Junwang was a hereditary title. His father was the previous generation's Grand Prince, who was buried when Lang Junwang was in his teens. Lang Junwang became a Grand Prince before he even reached adulthood. Therefore, in the Zhao Kingdom, Lang Junwang's status and influence were inferior to King Yu and King Ming. He then looked at King Ming, who was about the same age as King Yu, around 50 years old. He had a slightly plump figure, but he was an unrivaled expert and gave off an aura that could instantly intimidate others, especially because of the red mole in between his brows. Soon, the singing and dancing started again. All the female singers were as beautiful as fairies, but compared to Lu Lan, they were not just a little bit inferior. Regardless of appearance or temperament, Lu Lan was like the bright moon in the sky, which could only be seen from afar and could not be profaned. Serve the wine, serve the dishes. Under the lead of the imperial guards, servants carried all kinds of delicacies and served them to the guests, the Grand Prince, and the king from both sides. Right at this moment, Su Fang, who was standing behind King Yu, suddenly saw a gray-robed servant walking towards King Yu. Although his head was lowered, Su Fang felt that he was very familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Su Fang immediately had a bad feeling. Impossible, how can there be someone I've seen before? I've never been to the Imperial Palace before. When he thought of this, he suddenly heard something shattering. The servant who had his head lowered suddenly raised his head, and Su Fang finally saw this person's appearance. It was actually a guest from King Yu's residence that he had met once before. Why would an expert from King Yu's residence appear here? Although Su Fang had never spoken to this person before, he had seen him once before. Why would he appear here now? At the same time, he saw that person's right hand take out a sharp light. Su Fang's eyes narrowed, and he immediately went in front of King Yu. The assassin stabbed out with a short sword, but it didn't hit King Yu. Instead, it stabbed into the chest of Su Fang, who had been protecting King Yu. There's an assassin. At the same time, the 8th Prince and Ming Wang were also ambushed by the assassins. A large number of guards attacked at once, and Su Fang felt his body go cold. The assassin in front of him was about to attack again, but Pound, who was beside him, struck his head with a palm, causing his head to explode. In a daze, Su Fang heard King Yu's voice, "Hurry up and save them. Leave one alive." "It's too late, Prince. These assassins bit their tongues to commit suicide, or they were killed on the spot." He heard many more voices, and then he ordered Xian Wang to continue protecting his heart. At the same time, he felt someone feed him an immortal pill and spirit energy. Xuanhuang's voice rang out in his mind, "Master, don't worry. Before the dagger stabbed into your chest, Xian Wang had already protected your life. Other than losing a large amount of blood, Master will be fine. With Xian Wang here, Master can rest assured. This time, it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dared to take such a huge risk and use my body to block a sword. Only like this can I get King Yu's attention by disregarding my life." Su Fang did his best not to think about it. This time, he had risked his life to seize this opportunity to show off in front of King Yu. Late at night, King Yu's residence Forbidden Palace. Where am I? A palace? Still divided? School? Pinglo? Yu? Meifulo? Yuchulo? A little bit of Yuchulo is called Yuchulo? Right? Muchulo? Jueo? Nai? Jing? Wuchun Ci Shi? Ichulo? Huang Bai Si Shi? Su Fang. Pound and Pulsatilla appeared in the room. "Master." Su Fang hurriedly sat up straight. His wound didn't hurt much. He must have applied precious spirit medicine. In addition, his physical body was at the Great Perfection Realm, so his recovery ability was amazing. Pound said, "His Highness is here to see you." His Highness? When Su Fang heard this, he was surprised and happy, but he sneered in his heart. Sure enough, the opportunity that he risked his life for finally made him valued by King Yu. King Yu came to the room alone. He first waved to Su Fang, indicating that he should lie down. Your name is Su Fang. Today you saved this king. You have made a great contribution. If it weren't for you, this king would be in a different place today. Su Fang immediately saluted. This is my duty. Rest well. After you recover, this king will reward you well. King Yu then told Pound and the servants to take care of Su Fang like he did. If anything happened to him, he would be punished according to the law. After greeting for a while, King Yu left the room with Pound and Pulsatilla. At this moment, Su Fang, who was lying on the bed, was crying in his heart, Father, I am unfilial. I can't bring you home. Soon, I will avenge you and kill King Yu. 1 month later in her palace. Still ordering Hieng? Rolling Lo? Saluting D? Interpretive group Bath Pound came. Seeing that Su Fang had recovered well, he asked him to meet King Yu. In fact, Su Fang's injuries had fully recovered a long time ago. Dragging it out until now was just for outsiders to see. Arriving outside the main hall, Pound asked Su Fang to enter and wait while he waited outside. In the main hall, there were only female servants and guards. Su Fang went to the center and waited silently. At this moment, a familiar voice came from the back of the main hall. It was Zhao Ziba, father. You want to take Su Fang as your adopted son? What qualifications does he have? He hasn't even reached the transcendent realm. What can he do for you? Don't be anxious, King Yu said slowly. The assassination of the royal palace tower was personally arranged by my godfather. He ordered assassins to assassinate the 8th prince, Ming Wang and godfather himself, all for the sake of framing Lang Jun Wang. The assassins knew godfather well, so why would they want godfather's life? There were even experts on the scene who were prepared beforehand. This Su Fang brat merely blocked a sword for godfather. This time, father only wanted to frame King Lang. The assassins attacked me, Ming Wang, and the 8th prince, but not him. Outsiders can naturally see that the assassins were sent by King Lang. Even if he didn't order them, it was related to him. Su Fang suddenly blocked a sword for father. It is indeed unknown. Father just thought of a plan not long ago and needed someone to carry it out. This Su Fang is the only candidate. Isn't it better to let son do it? Zhao Ziba was still unconvinced. That's because this is a mission with a slim chance of survival. If I let Su Fang go, then only death awaits him. How could I bear to let you go? You were brought up by your father since you were young. How could I bear to let you throw your life away? Could it be that father only accepted him as father's adopted son in name? Give him some benefits so that he can work for father in the future? That's exactly what I mean. In the future, in front of outsiders, you can treat him as a younger brother. In reality, he is just a chess piece in our hands. Yes. Then, the sound of footsteps came from afar. In the hall, Su Fang accidentally heard the conversation between King Yu and Zhao Ziba. He felt a chill run down his spine. King Yu wanted to accept him as his adopted son. So it was a trap, and he was the chess piece in this trap. He was the sharp sword in King Yu's hand. Treat me as if I don't exist. King Yu, do you know that you are using me? But you don't know that I am purposely getting close to you to take your head? He sneered and immediately pretended that he didn't notice anything. Su Fang. King Yu arrived at the hall under Zhao Ziba's protection. This time, King Yu didn't sit on the throne. Instead, he walked to the hall and affectionately patted Su Fang's shoulder. This time at the Imperial Palace Tower, you also saw how Su Fang risked his life to save father. If it wasn't for Su Fang, father's old life would have been gone. Zhao Ziba revealed a smile. Su Fang, you saved my father. In the future, you and I will call each other brothers. Su Fang immediately bowed. How can I do that? How can I dare to call each other brothers? The father and son were in cahoot. They sang the same tune. Bar, this idea of yours reminds Father. It is rare for someone to risk their life for Father. Father has decided that from today onwards, Su Fong will be Father's second adopted son. You will be the third master of this prince's mansion. How could I have such good fortune? Su Fong had long since been shocked beyond recognition. King Yu smiled and said, if you can risk your life for this king, it means that you are loyal. It's decided. From today onwards, you will be this king's second adopted son. In this prince's mansion, your status is only below Bar. Why aren't you greeting Father? Zhao Ziba reminded. Bang Su Fong hurriedly knelt in front of King Yu. He made an extremely excited expression and repeatedly kowtowed to King Yu. Father, in the future, Su Fong will continue to block knives and swords for Father. I will not retreat half a step. Chapter 83. Good. King Yu held up Su Fong with both hands and praised him. Zhao Ziba waved his hand and all the guards in the hall came forward. Congratulations, Your Highness. You have an adopted son. Housekeeper. King Yu gave Su Fong a seat on the spot. At this time, a black-clothed old man appeared. He was about 70 years old and had a long white beard. This was the first time Su Fong had seen this old man. It seemed that this old man's position was far higher than Pound, Han Xian, and Shui Wujian. He was the one with the most power. Perhaps even Zhao Ziba couldn't compare to him. King Yu stared at the old man, announced that today, this king will accept Su Fong as his adopted son. The housekeeper bowed. Your Highness, according to the rules, Su Fong will have to change his name and follow Your Highness' surname Zhao, becoming a part of the imperial family. Su Fong, are you willing to change your surname? King Yu asked Su Fong for his opinion. Su Fong stood up. That's exactly what I want. Only the imperial family has the right to have the surname Zhao. This is my greatest honor. From now on, you will follow the imperial family's surname, Zhao, and be given the name Zijuan. King Yu announced. Zhao Zijuan. Who would have thought that he would have another name? A name was just a name. For the sake of revenge, changing one's surname was nothing. King Yu had all the servants leave and called Pound in. He said to the housekeeper, my son Zijuan is only at the first layer of the law opening stage. This king wants him to become a transcendent realm expert in the next 3 years. Pound bowed. Rest assured, Your Highness. We can work together to activate the marrow-cleansing grand formation and send magic power and spiritual energy to second young master. Empowerment. After sending magic power and spiritual energy, Su Fong smiled even more. The best chance for revenge was to become an absolute expert. The reason why King Yu had taken Su Fong as his adopted son was not because of that, but because he wanted Su Fong to complete a plan for him. This plan was of great importance, so King Yu needed Su Fong to become an expert in order to complete it. King Yu ordered, today is this king's big day. Immediately send the guards to hold a banquet tonight. However, the news of this king accepting an adopted son cannot be spread. This old servant will do it now. The butler left the hall. Zijuan, there are too many evildoers who want to harm foster father. You are already father's adopted son, so you have to think for father. When you become stronger, father will ask the emperor for permission to officially let you enter the imperial family's genealogy. King Yu then looked at Zhao Ziba. Bring your brother to the treasury. Second brother, let's go. Zhao Ziba happily brought Su Fong out of the main hall and towards the Forbidden Palace. Along the way they passed through many checkpoints. Thank you, big brother, for your kindness, but foster father wants to help me enter the transcendent realm. Spirit treasures are trash to me. Artifacts are better. Su Fong immediately snorted disdainfully. He didn't take it seriously, and continued to walk to the last secret room. Black Yellow's voice sounded in his mind. Master, these two artifacts contain the same residual blood chi as Master and the artifact's spirit vein. They must be artifacts that Master's ancestors fused with. After arriving at the last secret room, Su Fang wasn't in the mood to pay attention to the treasures. So my family Su really is a descendant of the Violet Fate Kingdom's imperial family. My family Su's ancestors were slaughtered by the Zhao country. The bloodline aura is good. Black Yellow can only confirm this. Black Yellow was very sure. What a Zhao country. Zhao royal family. I thought I only had a blood feud with you because you killed my father. I didn't think you would have a blood feud that involved the extermination of a country and a clan. Now he knew the origin of his family. Combined with his father's death, he suddenly felt that he had a blood feud with the Zhao country. Buzz. Suddenly, when he entered the secret room, his right hand moved again. This time, he didn't need Black Yellow to remind him. He knew that this secret room also contained a treasure from his family Su's ancestors. But this time, he pretended that he didn't know anything. When he arrived at a treasure box, his pupils suddenly shrank. This treasure box contained a purple-blue treasure saber. This treasure saber had the shape of a treasure sword. The saber's blade was perfectly straight, but the blade was only 2 fingers wide from the hilt to the tip of the saber. It was as wide as a palm. On both sides of the treasure saber's hilt were carved 2 crescent moons. The crescent moons were inlaid with precious stones. This treasure saber was indescribably precious. Falling Moon Saber. This treasure saber had appeared countless times on blueprints. Su Fang had memorized the appearance of this treasure saber since he was a child. This was because this was the family Su's most precious treasure, the Falling Moon Saber. Ever since he could remember, he had vowed to find the whereabouts of the Falling Moon Saber. He never thought that he would finally find it. In order to not let Zhao Ziba notice anything strange, he deliberately stared at a flying sword. This flying sword was an artifact. When Zhao Ziba saw Su Fang staring at the flying sword, he walked over and said, "Second brother has good eyes. This is an artifact." "Yes, it's not bad." Su Fang deliberately picked up the flying sword, and without a doubt picked up the Falling Moon Saber. He pretended to be ready to fight. "I don't know how this flying sword is like. Why don't I try this treasure saber?" "Second brother, you can't." Zhao Ziba stopped Su Fang. "This saber is called the Falling Moon Saber. It's a treasure that foster father accidentally obtained when he went to Great Jade Mountain to see the Feather Emperor. Although it's only a low-grade secret path realm spirit treasure, this treasure saber's quality is special. It's very sharp, and its hardness is comparable to a Dharma Cave realm spirit treasure. Then where did the Falling Moon Saber come from? Su Fang pretended to be curious. Zhao Ziba said, "Foster father didn't mention it. It should have been bought from some cultivators or found in some ruins. Second brother, there are many treasures here. You are foster father's foster son now, so you are the young master of the palace. You can take whichever treasure you like. But I already have the Spirit Snake Saber. It's also a low-grade magic treasure. Big brother already heard about this from Mother Mo. Although the Spirit Snake Saber is a treasure, you are now the young master of the palace. Only a true treasure is worthy of you. That would be a high-quality low-grade magic treasure, or a mid-grade magic treasure. I don't know how to choose. Why don't Big Brother pick one for me?" Su Fang said modestly. He was actually very smart. Foster son, he still didn't know that this was just a trick King Yu used to confuse him. If he really could take any treasure, it would just be a formality. He might as well try Zhao Ziba. Zhao Ziba flashed and returned to his original spot. A pair of gloves appeared in his hands. They were actually a pair of claws. They were dark gold like the skin of a snake. They were as smooth as silk and as thin as a layer of clothing. The 5 fingers were half a foot long, exactly like an eagle's claws. Zhao Ziba introduced, "This is the Ghost King's Claw. When worn on both hands, it will fuse with the skin of both hands. It is invisible to the naked eye, but once used to attack, it can be used in an instant to kill the enemy. However, second brother is only at the first level of the Dharma Cave realm. If you want to use the Ghost King's Claw's power, you will need to reach the high level of the Transcendent realm. Alright. Su Fong didn't stand on ceremony. After receiving the Ghost King's Claw, he condensed a drop of blood and absorbed it on the spot. When he wore it on both hands, he felt as if he could break through anything. Xian Huang's voice rang out in his mind, "Master, although this Ghost King's Claw is low-grade, it is a peak-grade item. Low-grade enchanted artifacts are also divided into different grades. The Ghost King's Claw has 9 grades, while your Spirit Snake Blade has 3. This is truly a treasure." His heart trembled. It seems that the only thing King Yu wants is for me to be dead set on becoming his foster son. He will give me treasures and help me reach the Transcendent realm. Zhao Ziba came again and handed Su Fong an empty bag. "Second brother, your bag is only at the Secret Path realm. This bag is at the Dharma Cave realm. The space inside is 10 times bigger than yours. I also gave you a Dharma Cave realm illusion cloud rope, 500 immortal pills, and 1,000 low-grade spirit stones. Many thanks, Big Brother. Let's go, Big Brother will bring you to the new palace." Zhao Ziba, like a real brother, led Su Fong out of the treasury. Night. Late at night, in the main hall of the king's mansion. Foster father, Su Fong is too greedy. Once he hears about enchanted artifacts, immortal pills, and spirit stones, his soul will leave his body. Especially when he hears that foster father will help him reach the Transcendent realm, he's practically drooling. Just let him daydream for now. Within the main hall, Zhao Ziba was reporting to King Yu. After King Yu heard this, he gave a domineering smile and praised Zhao Ziba. He's just an ant, a country bumpkin who hasn't seen the world. Now that he has status and strength, he has long forgotten who his surname is. He thinks that my, King Yu's, things are so easy to take. If he needs anything in the future, just give it to him or take the initiative to give him benefits. Yes, I'll return to the Imperial Sky Mansion first. Zhao Ziba bid farewell and left. Right now, the Zhao Empire is in danger. I can't let that brat emperor destroy my Zhao family's empire. King Yu proudly puffed out his chest. In the middle of the night, in the main hall, he seemed to be the Zhao Empire's emperor. Chapter 84. In the Forbidden Palace, inside a magnificent and imposing palace. A large number of female servants were waiting inside and outside the palace. There were also many experts patrolling the surroundings. When outsiders saw this scene, they would think that the palace was the residence of some prince or concubine. Su Fong was currently in a room at the back of the palace, fusing with the Ghost King Claw. After Su Fong fused with the low-grade artifact, it would instantly appear in his hands. When it appeared in his hands, it would no longer feel like a human's hands, but the power of a big goblin. There were many restrictions inside the Ghost King Claw. Once it was activated, it would explode with claws that could cover the sky and earth. He estimated that it would only take 3 attacks to raze the palace to the ground. Spirit Snake Saber and Ghost King Claw can activate a portion of their power. As for the Crystal Soul Sword, 7 Stars Life-Chasing Sword, and other spirit treasures, I will bring them to Uncle in the future. With 2 low-grade artifacts, he was still calculating. If it was possible, he would go to the treasury to get a few more treasures. Falling Moon Saber. The biggest reward this time was actually seeing the family heirloom. After more than 20 years, the Falling Moon Saber appeared in front of him for the first time. It was the artifact that his father used before. The murderer who killed my father was indeed King Yu's internal guard. Even if King Yu didn't do it personally, he must have given the order. King Yu is my enemy, and I need to borrow King Lang's power to get rid of him. Unfortunately, I can't leave the king's residence, and I can't send a message to Shen Huangqi. During his cultivation, he had thought of many things. The thing he thought about the most was how to kill King Yu, take his head, and take back the falling moon saber. Tianmen Province, Prefecture Lord. In the center of the many dojos, there was a supreme mountain peak that was forbidden to all disciples. At this moment, Ho Ping rushed to the room to meet Tianmen's Saint Emperor. Tianmen's Saint Emperor nodded. Previously, I received news from the Zhao nation. I never expected Lu Lan to become the 8th prince's imperial concubine. Ho Ping was flabbergasted. Imperial concubine, manor head, this is bad. No wonder the family Su sent people to ask for help. Could it be that Lu Lan had already made her move and secretly sent people to Heaven Sex City to get rid of the family Su? A mountain cannot contain 2 tigers. 2 incredible characters were born under this lord's tutelage. You should pretend that you don't know about this matter. After Su Fang went to King Yu's residence, there were no more movements. Lu Lan, on the other hand, became the imperial concubine, and we are no longer able to control Lu Lan. As for Su Fang's family, we will turn a blind eye to it. King Yu's ambition was boundless. Even Zhao Zibo was thinking about becoming a prince one day, or even the crown prince. Secret chamber, purring. After a new round of marrow cleansing. At this moment, what exploded from Su Fang's body wasn't blood qi, but inner qi. After the explosion, the inner qi was divided into 2 layers. Su Fang was pleasantly surprised. It's only been 10 days, and I've already reached the 2nd layer of the law-opening realm. Congratulations, young master! Han Xin and the 2 black-clothed elders were still operating the spirit-protecting formation, using spirit stones and runes to form an endless stream of energy to cleanse Su Fang's marrow cleansing. The other black-clothed man was expressionless. It seemed that he was a true expert by King Yu's side. His aura was even stronger than Han Xin's. Young master, we'll start using our magic power to help young master. Su Fang nodded. Thank you, senior. The elder continued, marrow cleansing is different from marrow cleansing. Marrow cleansing is me using my spiritual power to help young master cleanse your marrow, forcing out the impurities and pouring my spiritual power into your qi si. But marrow cleansing is to use magic power to force it into young master's mind, and under young master's guidance, it will enter your divine aperture. The magic power will fuse with young master's magic power, and in the process of strengthening, it will actively attack your divine aperture. Marrow cleansing was the fastest way for cultivators to raise their cultivation. But marrow cleansing wasn't easy to carry out. The person doing the marrow cleansing had to have the highest cultivation and absolute strength to help the person receiving the marrow cleansing. Su Fang was currently at the 2nd level of the Dharma whole realm, and the 3 elders around him had to be 100 times stronger than Su Fang in order to help him. Vast magic power. After Su Fang finished his preparations, Han Xin and the 2 black-clothed elders formed hand seals together. This time, along with the surge of spiritual power, there was a faint golden light. This was the first time Su Fang had seen the color of magic power. With the golden color, it felt like a halo and not as deep as spiritual power. It seemed that the 3 elders' magic power hadn't truly reached an earth-shattering level. When the magic power entered Su Fang's mind, Su Fang took the opportunity to focus his mind and sense the 3 magic powers. When he sensed them, he discovered that his magic power wasn't even worth mentioning in front of the 3 experts. It hadn't even reached 1% of their magic power. The will slowly guided the 3 strands of magic power into the divine aperture. The 3 experts felt that after their magic power flowed into the divine aperture, they released magic power that was twice as strong as before. Boom boom boom! Immediately, Su Fang felt his mind explode.